Data points just coming through here to kick things off this morning. Initial jobless claims for last week, 219,000 versus 220,000 expected there. A little bit of a downside print. Continuing jobless claims, 1.86 million versus 1.87 million expected on the continuing claims number. Jobless claims on the 4-week average, 215,000 versus 219, so a little bit of an improvement as far as people getting jobs. Always good to see. CB leading index, that's the Conference Board's leading index coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. Overall, the market not quite as bad as MGOL right now, but we'll talk about that coming up here in a second. There it is, 0.2% for the NASDAQ right now, coming off a nice rally back to basically highs yesterday, all-time highs for both the S&P and the NASDAQ throughout the midday. Anyways, we had that little bit of a sell-off into the close. A few earnings names to get to this morning. Palantir absolutely smoked the end of the day yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up. We'll talk about SMCI as well. Baba with their report out this morning. Carvana moving around. Tons of things to get to today.
Right, no, they're making $6,600 per car. I need answers. That's a lot of money to be making per car. I'm talking about Carvana. Obviously, decidedly negative to start the morning, 7 1/3 down. We'll talk about how their report went. They did quite well on most of the metrics, but they're down anyway. Walmart also reported, Brendo, about 8% here. Another report that was really good, but we're down on the morning anyway, as a result likely of some tariffs. Apple with the iPhone 6e and Microsoft coming out late yesterday with that new quantum chip. So let's talk about
iPhone 16e. It's kind of a weird name. It's not necessarily the SE, but it is the SE. I don't know. I think a lot of people are a little confused on that. I was reading some notes this morning on the way in here about that, and everyone kind of throwing their hands up in the air. 0.3% for the S&P to the downside. We're off the all-time highs, but a little bit stronger yesterday for the S&P, my point here, versus that NASDAQ chart that we saw. So relative strength kind of shifting gears here a little from what we've seen over the past couple of weeks. Huge day for us. If you haven't heard, Brett Favre is going to be on the show coming up this morning. We're going to touch on a bunch of things, brain health, specifically concussion and concussion treatment, a huge problem in the world right now, but specifically the U.S. So about 10:45 coming up this morning. Hall of Famer Brett Favre on the show. Sean is back as well. What's up?
Yes, I can't imagine what. And something else happening today as well.
Yeah. I mean, Hall of Famer Brett Favre, as a Packer fan, obviously we're super happy.
Of course.
I was actually going to bring my cheese head, and I did not. But.
See, I made a prediction which ended up being incorrect, but it was. If it wasn't for Team Canada, I said you were going to wear your Packers jersey today in the aftermarket show, because I was like, I have a feeling maybe there'll be some Green Bay gear on, but it is, of course, Canada-US tonight, so it makes perfect sense as well. Bill Sid, what's he going to do for us today?
This is from, this is from Vancouver 2010, when he was 21 years old.
He needs to channel that.
I mean, thing is, I knew I was going to get some pushback because obviously 80% or so of our viewers are American.
It's true. It's true.
But we're Canadian.
It is what it is.
But I mean, yeah, where's the Canadian thing?
Hey.
And I mean,
whoa, what
just happened?
No, it was the flag was blank. You see this?
No.
Look, you hit it.
Oh, my stream deck's not up. I have to load it up.
What? Look.
What?
Whoa, hey, see? I don't know about that. There's a conspiracy right now.
Who just hit bang? That would be the opposite of what we should be.
That doesn't even make any sense. That's
fail.
Crazy.
Hold on a second. I'm going to try mine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. At least it's there for a minute.
C-O-N-spiracy. That's what that is. That's not cool.
Anyways.
See how they do?
We're ready to go. Yeah, they're redesigning the flag. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. You got to add an extra star on it, now with the 51st.
No, like the extra star would just be a little tiny maple leaf.
Oh, did you start watching White Lotus season 3 yet?
I have not. I'm watching this thing on Prime. What the heck's it called?
I don't even know.
The Border.
Oh.
It's like, I don't know, it's one of those it's a regular, it's not a crime procedural, but basically it's like a Mexican cop and a U.S. cop, and they collaborate together. It's pretty cool. They kind of copy a little bit from Homeland in that the U.S. cop is a little bit cuckoo.
Okay. So they're all, so they travel around the world. And
Independent. Oh, okay. That's
right. So you don't need to see one or two to understand three.
actually kind of like that.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. And it starts off with like a scene that happens at the end, and then it works its way into that scene. So it's kind of cool. But anyways, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son is in it. I have no idea what his name is.
Oh,
He's really tall.
I think it's Patrick. Whatever.
Maybe.
It doesn't
know
matter
what it is. Anyways, it's pretty good. I was gonna say the only thing on Amazon that we wind up watching is Beast Games, it seems like. Okay, so I just want to say quickly, we talked about Canada there. China right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Like this Alibaba, like woo-wee. Yeah, 140. So I've written down some VWAP trading here. It's gonna be on the sticky note, which will be on in a second, but like that could be the trade there. I mean, up 11%. I don't know what the implied move was on earnings. I guess I should check that out first. But yes, sir, it's Randy.
Randy's not playing.
Similar shirt. How's can you please pick up the mic? I have some questions to ask you. How has the new caterer been? Have you been here the last 2 days?
Yeah. Have you?
Oh, come on, Randy.
That's why I'm asking. I mean, I know Obi and I look
this
alike
guy,
and
this
everything.
guy.
So it's been okay.
Not bad.
Okay.
Yesterday was fire.
Neil was really happy because it was breakfast sandwiches.
The jerk chicken
Dude,
was...
the jerk chicken
Oh, it was jerk
yesterday
chicken?
was...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was legit.
What about our salads, though?
The salads, dude, we got a full
comes in a
actual
plate, right?
chicken breast.
Oh, okay.
So it was
That's
pretty
probably too
good.
much chicken,
My
though.
only beef is today, instead of like the cool breakfast sandwiches,
It had hard-boiled eggs.
the hard-boiled egg.
Yeah.
Put some paprika on it and some salt and pepper.
You got some paprika on your desk over there?
You keep that at the office? I could, for a second, I would almost believe you, but there's no way you do.
He
Come on,
doesn't.
Randy, I know you don't.
But now that we're getting
See, they've
eggs,
got some fruit salad.
No, there'll be sandwiches tomorrow. People are not going to eat the hard-boiled. The hard-boiled egg won't be popular because you got to do work. So I feel like that's be the last time we get that, my guess.
What is a white melon? What is that called?
Melon?
A lot of white melon in here.
There was a lot, yeah, but still, the fruit salad was legit.
It was good.
Cantaloupe
I'll take
broccoli.
I enjoyed it.
Not hate.
All right.
Not hate.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Rivian earnings tonight.
Brett Favre tonight. Brett Favre on in a couple hours.
Red 5 on 10:45, yeah. But not in the building, of course.
No.
All right. This is the problem. When I come back, it's a lot of talking, but poor
Go stock.
Sharif and Brendo over there at the desk. But all right, so we'll get the sticky note out. Yeah, Palantir is going to be interesting. What a tank there
That was
at the end of the day. Rivian going to be interesting with earnings tonight. Wally's world, it's their world, and we've all been living in it. But today, it will come back in. I was telling Sharif, I know you're long the name, I think, still.
Oh, yeah.
This has been like, whoa, that's the split. My bad. Right there. Like, you're just looking from, even if you go back, this is June of 24. That's not even that long ago. This was $66 all the way to 106. So retail name doesn't normally fly like that. At the end of the day, there's the 50 period. There's the 50 period. There's the 50 period. Here's the 50 period.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
So if you're a little light on the retail side. And then you also have here, I just wanted to see ooh, wow, 1,050 for Costco? I didn't even realize that. Oh my gosh.
Just split already.
All these names are the same. Like, it's crazy how much these names are going up. So June, this was 8. So 800 in May. I guess we must just go back to here. August lows. There's that August dip, 790. 1050. Wow. Good job there. All right. Yeah, Intel. I see so many. I can't look at the chat because I'll not stop talking.
I'm going to remember now, got to pay for SMCI shorts.
All right.
That was almost the thing at the open yesterday because there was a short right away at like $60. And if you didn't pay for the locates here at Real Trading, they were super cheap, but you got to be able to go log in and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's so much to watch today. Things that caught strays. We'll talk about the quantum names as well. There's just a ton here. And don't forget, like after the bell, you mentioned Rivian. We've also got like Block is reporting tonight.
Oh, really?
As well,
Okay.
so what are they now? XYZ.
XYZ, yeah, not Block. Or it is Block, yeah.
It's still Block, but the ticker is just stupid.
Why would they do that? Like, I guess
just trying to
PLK
be-
is probably BlackRock. That's
They're just trying to be clever. I don't know. They're just trying to be clever. Let's go back up to the desk, I guess. But I don't get it, Block. You should have just stuck with
Too cute.
SQ.
Foremost Energy on the NASDAQ here, FMST, with a headline to pass along for you this morning. Foremost Clean Energy reporting positive uranium exploration results. Guys, there is the chart. Thank you. Positive uranium exploration results from its Hatchet Lake property in Athabasca Basin, highlighting potential at 2 targets that they found. The company's planning now follow-up drilling programs and additional target generation across its portfolio of 10 properties optioned from Denison. So FMST, this is a Canadian company. It's actually dual listed. So here on the CSE and then also down on the NASDAQ. So shout out to our friends over at FMST. I mean, a lot of different ways we can go here. I want to talk about Tesla here real quick. Back to the upside ever so slightly here so far this morning, about 0.5%, a little bit of relative strength coming into play. Company has been cited, though, for workplace safety violations. The one thing I don't recall, anyways, ever hearing about Tesla before. I don't know, I could be wrong.
Neither have
I don't remember sitting here talking about that ever.
No, it's usually autonomous this, or the pedal fell off, or the rear view camera is not working. No, I didn't have an opportunity to read this article yesterday, but I saw Elon Musk with Donald Trump on Hannity yesterday that was released. It was a very interesting interview with respect to Doge and what he's been doing with his time, because that's been widely spoken about, that he's allotting a lot of his time to Doge. He's sleeping in the White House, apparently in his office, and that's kind of got a little bit of the concern here from Tesla shareholders as the price has been fluctuating a little bit. So I'll have to keep an eye out on this one, Brendo, but it looks like the Department of Labor confirmed the findings in a statement to Reuters there. They didn't disclose the nature of the workplace safety failures or if any fines were imposed, but we'll have to keep an eye on this.
Yeah, I mean, as they get more and more into, I mean, it's a EV company, so they're working with electricity, obviously, an electrocution, it sounds like, but as you were saying, like the actual facts surrounding what happened don't seem to be available at this point. Anyway, Tesla back above 350 here today, guys, trying to hold.
Tesla was a weird one yesterday. It was so incredibly strong off the open, and then it didn't hold, and then it just couldn't hold on to VWAP like after the opening rush, and then all of a sudden it did, and it was just this weird, like, heartbeat action, if not for what I'm going to term the Palantir drop. Like, there were things that caught strays because of that fall in Palantir that really, if you look at it, they went back to doing what they were doing before because it ended up being pretty particular. If not for that, all you did on Tesla after that opening breakout was form a wedge. It was higher lows and it was higher highs the entire way through, and we're right still in the middle of the range. And it's kind of weird in that we've been looking at a potential breakout of this range for a while, and like story this and that, and shareholders concerned about Elon. I get it, but it's all about the price action, and all the concerns in the world can't get you away from the fact that it made the V-shaped bottom, held 350, and now we're just in a consolidated phase. Now 3 days in a row of effectively consolidation despite that big breakout that was happening in the open. So I still feel pretty constructive about this. I don't think, when we sat down yesterday, you were pretty much chilling close to that 348, 350 support. So it was reasonable to have hoped that you could have got a bounce down there. And I think you did, just not getting to the price that you wanted. It's a little further away today. It would require a bit of a drop to get us down to that same level. But as long as we're inside that range, then that's where I'd be looking to buy it. It's like 348 to 350 support here on Tesla. Just not sure we're going to see it after the rally we had. If it stays inside day, maybe we look for the higher low. But with so much to watch today, I mean, between SMCI, Palantir, obviously going to be on the radars. You've got crypto stocks moving. Alibaba is going to be in play. Walmart could always threaten as well. Yeah, Rigetti, I don't want to forget about them because of quantum names. Tesla's actually not making the top 4 or 5 for me today.
Quantum names, yeah, I didn't even really look over at the quantum names.
Oh, dude, they made a run.
Why did they make a run?
Microsoft had a little breakthrough, and that's all it takes, right?
Okay,
so,
up to $12. Okay.
the name of their...
Rigetti 11 to 12. I mean, it's still a good move.
It was a good move. It's a fact that it's where they are right now. They're just making a little bit of a curl that I like. But yeah, it was all in this, again, it's not, Microsoft making a breakthrough doesn't matter ultimately. to necessarily to Rigetti, but you basically recovered to like monster resistance levels. So if we can break that out, it looks good to me. Well, it's going to be on the radar for sure because you almost broke that out in the pre-market 12:30 here in Rigetti.
Yeah, so just on Tesla quickly, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think that right now, if you're looking at the daily chart here for Tesla, this little level, it's broken through 350. That bottom is 355. The thing I like about it right now is it's up 0.63 against a market that's negative, and the market is trying to rally, and Tesla's rallying with it, so that's nice. So if the market does turn green, this stock is going to be one of, something to watch. I think it will run with the market because it's already up, so there's buyers here. If you're going to look for a level to play off of, though, like what was going on here right off the open yesterday was whoosh, like what a huge move. Could that happen again here today? I mean, we had some negativity come, obviously, from the White House yesterday at the end of the day, so I wasn't sitting in front of a level 2 to watch anything. But that dip down here into the 200 period, that's kind of what I'm looking at right there. So if we can get something in and around that 358 marker, that would be okay. So I think something in and around there, and I'm going to put it on the sticky note just because it's trading the way that I like, and that means it's up against a market that is relatively flat, so that's a positive thing. And then this level kind of only makes sense from yesterday. It's just we held it, so let's see if that happens again. There's been so many times in the past where we've seen Tesla come down into levels and try to hold them and bounce off of it. I mean, every stock does that, but this is a pretty epic move down. And then look how well we held this 348, 350 area. And then now it's like maybe this is the next area to kind of hold. You got a 358 right there, back on the 13th. So yeah, I'm putting Tesla on the mark today, 358. But if this market crashes because of Palantir or because of government spending or Trump comes in or something about Doge again or whatever, Tesla's completely in the crosshairs, right? I mean, tariff talk and everything to do with Elon. And I don't know, EVs, we have Rivian tonight. What is Rivian even doing, actually? Yeah, Rivian's doing well. So they're all fine. So I like Tesla. If there's going to be anything to do, I think it's Tesla in the EV space. We can look at some Chinese EVs. We talked about how good China's been lately. But for me, it's going to be Tesla 358. We'll put that down.
All right, Steve Gomez with us from Trade Ideas with a look at his favorite indicator. I'm excited about this. So swing traders, listen up because we're going to have some ideas for you here. Steve, good to see you, first of all. Welcome back. It's early on the West Coast, so we appreciate you jumping on this morning over in, you're in San Diego, right?
Yeah, I'm up at 4. It's 5:48 now. I'm usually up at 4 a.m. every day, so I'm ready to go.
You're accustomed to East Coast time because of the market, obviously. So
yes, it's a great time zone to trade in. Let me tell you, if you're a golfer, a full day of work and 18 holes in the afternoon.
Not bad. I mean, there's that beach thing down there too that is kind of nice in the afternoon as well, I imagine. All right, lead us off here. Talk about the SMA.
As you guys know, Brian Shannon, a good friend of mine. I've known him for 16, 17 years. I think we're going to be doing some skiing here in March. And not only is he a good friend of mine, but he taught me one of the most critical, simple indicators that I've been using so much lately, which is the 5-day SMA. And the reason this one works so well is it's easier to read than it is on a daily chart. I've got some moving averages on my daily chart, and the last thing I need is another, varicose vein running through my daily chart. So what we do is we take simple math, and Brian tells everybody this, and you take 5 trading days, you divide that by 15-minute candles, and you're going to get 130 period. So we call it the 130 SMA, and it's best used on a 15-minute chart, of course. And it's one of the most simplest forms of indicators that I use. I don't want to use a lot of indicators. You get over-analysis paralysis. But it allows me to be contrarian. And why is being contrarian so important? I talk to new traders all the time, and one of the first things they always do, the first mistake they make is that FOMO. They see that big green candle and they go, I got to get in this, and they chase it. And they learn real quickly what reversion to the mean is all about. And so the more contrarian you can be in your entries and in your exits, you're going to have better success as a trader when the smoke clears in the end. So how do you be contrarian? How do you find those moments where you want to pull back and buy when the market is selling? it's the 130. And there's the book. If you haven't read the book, that's where it all is explained out by Brian. And I'm convinced that this 130 is probably a key input in a lot of quants and a lot of algorithms out there. As we get into some chart examples later, you'll just see some of it it's just to the penny. It's pretty amazing. So, let's get into it here. The beauty of trade ideas, I'm going to shift on you here a second, is we are a scanner. We're not a screener. Think of a scanner like a police scanner. You're monitoring real time. Something happens, you got it. A screener, FinViz, TradeView, other ones, TrendSpider. You put in your inputs and you hit enter and you get an output, and it's a static output, and you get that to work with. Whereas trade ideas is throughout the day dynamically updating and bringing to us in real time what we want to see. So let me just take a second here and go through this configuration. For those that use trade ideas, you understand it's a very rich product, and we can layer a lot of things to get what we want to see. And just going through this ubiquitous config here, the very first one is the change from the 130 period. And as you can see, what I've done is I've created a bracket. I got 0.1% below and 0.1% above. So that's my window of price. It's got to be within that relationship to the SMA 130 on a 15-minute chart. In addition from that, we've got the price minimum $5, relative volume, 1 normal relative volume. And this is where trade ideas is really good. I want to see charts that are not in the downtrend. I want to see charts that are strong. The idea of a contrarian buy is to find stocks that are strong and not chase them, but wait for that jump rope to come back around. And usually where that jump rope's slapping the ground is that 5-day SMA, the 130, in my opinion. So continuing on here, change in 5 days, our trade ideas filter, we've got to be up 3% in 5 days. We got to have average volume of 500,000 shares, decent sized stocks. Change in 20 days, we've got to have at least 5% up. And then at the very bottom there, I've just kind of thrown in a qualifier, my 10-day SMA on the daily chart. I just want to have the price be above that. So all of those filters combined are going to basically give me a chart that's decent. And so I can start to use this scan as we go forward. We can see the actual scan is spitting out in real time symbols. And again, this is the screener concept, the scanner concept. It's giving us real-time updates. I'm not having to hit submit, and get new updates. So right off the bat, we see this first example here in Shop, and Shop came through. That blue line, I'm highlighting the arrow. The arrow is drawn by trade ideas. The red arrow is drawn by me to highlight the significance of that level. So you have kind of an opening crash back down. And I'm just going to call that level, it's the basic reversion to the mean on a 15-minute chart that I just seem to notice a lot of correlation on throughout the years I've been using this. And so there's a great example of waiting for that moment. And then when the alert comes through, you have to assess, do I want to participate in this trade or not? And lean on that level. Know that the quants and the buyers are probably underneath me trying to give me some help. As we move on to some other examples here, CVNA, another one. These are all from yesterday, by the way, except for one. So another good piercing of the 5-day. And then, if you're an intraday trader, those are some pretty decent little moves. You can take some scalps or whatever you want to call it, some momentum trades. And even at the end of the day, it came back, and I didn't draw an arrow, but it came back and did it again. Moving forward, this was a big one here. This DOMH, never heard of this one, but it tagged that 10 SMA after the open yesterday, and then just gave a couple bucks worth of upside. And the last example I've got here is kind of a double, and I was not aware, but Tempest AI. There's a new AI stock for me to put in my wheelhouse. But it did it not only Wednesday on the open, Wednesday was towards the close. It came down and tapped that level and bounced. And then yesterday on Thursday, same thing, came down, found it. So I've just been noticing, this is just a really, really solid indicator. And I don't like to use too many, but again, I thank Brian for showing me this. Of course, I use the AVWAPs. Those are kind of a secondary checkoff. But, consider, even if you're not using this indicator for an entry, maybe you're in your own stock and you're just wondering, what's the health of this thing right now? Is it above or below this 5-day, 130? That'll kind of give you a binary. Should I stay in or should I get out? That's a lot of times that's what I'll do, which brings me, to the last slide here. What if I'm wrong? And you can see on there it spit out Zeta. And if I had taken a trade on Zeta, which I didn't, but this is my method, if I'm wrong, at least I've given myself a great risk-reward entry there. And I've waited for my spot. I've waited patiently for my entry, my pitch. And my rule is the first closing candle, not wicks, not ticks, but the first 15-minute closing candle that posts a close back down below that blue line, that tells me this one's not working. Get out, rip the Band-Aid off, take a small loss, and, there's your good risk-reward setups. And lastly, for you guys, good luck tonight. BlackBerry is a Canadian stock. This thing's been riding that 5 SMA for a few days. I wanted to end with that one.
Good place to end, definitely, as you saw on the screen there as well. President's Day sale still on over at Trade Ideas. Trader TV 22, Trader TV 28, the codes for everyone if you want to go check that out and take advantage. I mean, it's when you take a step back and you look at a couple of days data like that, it becomes so obvious and clear. One of the biggest challenges I find that a lot of new traders specifically have is trying to find the difference between those days where it just keeps trending and doesn't come back, and those days where you get, a midday or a mid-afternoon bounce and then a rally into the close. And I mean, those are great examples and a great method to maybe depict those as well. Steve Gomez over at Trade Ideas. Great to see you. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you, Steve. Well, thank you. Yeah. Thing is, the USA hasn't won anything in 25 years, so hopefully tonight, it's going to be a good game. I think USA will be favored, but it'll be really close.
They're missing some bodies. So
the thing that I want to say about what Steve just did there was the best part, in my opinion, obviously all the explanation there, but just showing you how to set things up.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of traders, they get overwhelmed, and Steve just talked about how you can set it up on Trade Ideas. I'm sure he's available if you want to message him or whatever on some of the socials about that. He talked about Brian Shannon's book. Brian is a great guest on the show. We can, if you join on Tuesday nights. Was he on with you?
He was in Vegas for a conference.
Right. That's right.
But you know what? Yesterday, right when Palantir was dropping, he messaged out, and we were referencing it, that he called out it was a small bounce initially because it was dropping so hard off of an anchor VWAP from earnings.
Right.
We went real time with that. It's actually underneath that right now, that 110 level, so that should be key to watch. But it's a good idea. It's just knowing how to use some tools, like you said, can be a bit daunting. Like we talk about it with Trade Ideas or with eSignal. Like I've asked you a couple times, how do I get this right? Or I want to tweak this. It's always good to have a good resource out there. I think, Steve, thank you.
It's intimidating. Like, we sit down and we know what we're doing, but most people that are just getting into the game or even have been here for a couple of months, it's still like, what indicators are you looking at? The biggest suggestion that I have, and thank you, Steve, for going over the 15-minute 3-day, I think it was, right? Or the 130 marks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's something that he looks at and trusts it. And that's really what it's about, whether or not you use a simple moving average on a 5-minute, a 20-minute, a daily, whatever you're doing, VWAP, you talked about anchored right there. Whatever you're using, just study it, believe in it, and try it, and start small, and then get bigger, And by the way, Steve, if you're looking for any neighbors or anything like that, I'm down with golfing in the afternoon. I didn't even think
tough
about
life.
I didn't even think about that. You're in amazing weather. Like our snow is, we're in amazing weather here, there, not here. And you get to, but then you got to wake up at 4, but then you sort of adjust your sleeping
That's nothing
pattern.
wrong with that. Waking up before is fine.
But waking up at 4, I mean, if you're trading at home, though, I wouldn't be waking up at 4 because the market would open up at 6:30.
Well, some people like to prepare
at 5:30.
Morning people love to do their prep and stuff in the morning. Some people like to do it in the evening. I think it just works out to whichever one you are. If you're a morning person, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Get up, do your workout, whatever it might be,
and
then get into your day a little bit. So I'm down with that.
But you know what, though? Actually, this month especially, we've been hitting our daily goals at 9:35. So actually, you could still go golfing if you trade on the East Coast, but just not today. Oh, but that TGL, you could do indoor golfing. You could
you can always do that.
I thought I'd be into that, but I'm not really. I was watching it the other night, and it's fun, but
upgrade Callaway?
I don't know.
We're going to look at some upgrades and downgrades.
Let's go over to Sharif. Sharif's Adara's off ill today, and at least I can't be patient zero, so that's great. So thumbs up. Sharif?
True. Sean? Lab Research and NXP, so a couple of semiconductor names on here, both getting the nod from Susquehanna and Citigroup, both decidedly green on the day. We have Roku continuing to move up after earnings last week, and Snowflake getting the nod today from BTIG Research, up 1 1/3. On the downgrade side of things, Solar Edge, this was on both sides, so I put it on the downgrade side because it was red on the day. A couple of downgrades today for Solar Edge, 1 upgrade. BMO Capital Markets given this one a bit of a move down, 3%. Fiverr, EOS Energy as well, both to the downside, and then UBS guys getting downgraded by Morgan Stanley.
So Snowflake was on that list for an upgrade. It gives me an excuse to say I might have mentioned this already. So I have a third of my swing on Snowflake, and basically if it closes under the 50 period, I'm getting out of it. The last of it, I should say. It's just been running into trouble. It's one of those. It's another one of the stocks that caught a stray in the afternoon. And not that it mattered, but yeah, it was kind of cruising along and caught a stray like late in the day from Palantir. And you're going to see a few charts like that, and I think that's constructive. When we start talking about individual names, I look at the things that went back to normal after that drop in Palantir and the things that didn't go back to normal. Solar Edge was it was up a lot yesterday, but it was a sell from the highs. And I haven't seen anything today that's made it calm down after earnings. Everyone always wants to pick the bottom on the solar names. You got the big gap up. I'd love to see it hold on to this 19 area, but I think you got to give it the old couple-day rule, because all it did is sell from the open. It was initial pop, and it just sell, 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 sell. If it can find a base at this prior high, then I'd start looking at this one to make a rebound. So good day if you were long it going into earnings, bad day if you were long it at the open on Solar Edge. And as a trader, there was never a long to be had. One of the ones I'm glad we stayed away from yesterday.
I was going to talk about Solar Edge there. I was actually going to, when I see that, the first thing that comes to my mind is FSLR. I mean, all I've ever heard is that this is supposed to be best of breed. So when it gets hit like this, if you believe in some of the solar names here, I think this is, again, where's the 200 period? Oh, the 200 period is way up here. So you are way, way underneath. And we had brought this to attention before when it was up here at 175, thinking that it might want to hold that level, but it didn't. So right now, instead of catching a falling knife, I don't think it's really there yet. But if you can get a little bit of a move down again, you know, 146, 145, there could be some buying opportunities down there for FSLR. Again, I don't, you can hear I'm not like super confident. Oh, TAN would be probably, that's right, it's an Amex. So hold on a second. I can't change the thing on our charts. But there it is. I just wanted to see what the TAN ETF is doing. Yeah, so okay, so the ETF is actually doing okay, holding and starting to go back to the upside. So maybe instead of picking a specific name, maybe just the TAN ETF here back to the upside. And maybe, I mean, Trump hasn't said too many bad things about solar as far as I know, but renewable energy is a thing. We'll wait to see what happens with TAN ETF. I'm not in it, but this is not horrible. 33 hold. Something there if you believe in this space anyways. So TAN and FSLR would be my plays rather than Solar Edge. But, you know, there's lots of get up in these names if they get going, that's for sure.
Into everything else here this morning, market continues to chop around here so far today, but I mean, all-time highs once again yesterday.
Yes, sir. SPX as well, Brendo, 61.44. That's an all-time high on the SPX. That's the index. We closed out at the all-time high. Now, with respect to the futures, we did wick into that same area that we had on January 24th, but we didn't close there. The closing print, 61.62. So we're below the 50-point print right now. If we reclaim the 50-point print at the open, we're going to use it as support. We'll look to all-time highs, 6,200 or 61.75 as resistance. If we fail and don't hold that 61.50 area, we're looking at 61.25 as support.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the absolutely free watch list. Jump down to the description in this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page, has everything you need to know on it. In one nice, neat package sent right to your inbox every single morning. Tons to know this morning. Let's start with Palantir. After what happened late in the day yesterday, hard selling came into the last hour or so of the session. Here's a couple reasons why. The first one was the announcement, Trump administration going to scale back their defense spending specifically, and then CEO comes out and, well, I mean, it wasn't him specifically, but a note comes out suggesting $2 billion worth of share sales coming through. So we've sat here and talked a lot about government contracts after government contracts after government contracts, maybe not so many to come in the future here.
We'll see, Brendo. I mean, this is interesting. So I know that they sold off because they want to cut the budget, but I have a different opinion on this. I kind of see this as they may benefit incrementally because they're not going to be spending $300 million or $200 million on F-22s and F-35s. They're going to be more lean, and I think that that's where Palantir, Anduril, some of these other companies come in. So let's talk about how they're doing and what the deal is here. So yesterday, CEO Alex Karp dropped a new trading plan. He already had a trading plan out there, but he updated it, and he's looking at selling up to 10 million shares in the next 6 months. That was released Tuesday night. In addition to that, the Washington Post reported the Pentagon ordered to prepare 8% annual budget cut for the next 5 years. That came from the top, Pete Hegseth. Basically, right now, they're spending $850 billion a year, so you can do the math there. And obviously, Palantir up a big, Brendo, 50% year to date before that drop.
All that being said, as you mentioned, 50% plus, we're down 2.6%. So, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket overall. 110 seems to be a bit of a problem here. We've tested it a couple of times and failed. Trying to get back there right now to 110, guys.
Yeah, that was that anchored.
I was going to say like a drop in the bucket, but like yesterday that bucket didn't really have.
It's a big old bucket.
Yeah, it had like a big ass hole in it, and it just kept on. That's funny. Like I didn't even really know. Like look at the volume increasing here. I don't know, man. I must have been. I wasn't even paying attention to this play yesterday. You know, I think it would have been reasonable to think about getting something out. You know, once you maybe broke this 116, 117 area. You know, we've seen these moves before. Like, I don't think you would have panicked when it came into here, you know, because some of these red candles, and again, this chart is kind of, you know what, I'm just going to go back over to e-signal charts, which will show the change. Our charts don't show from New York to, whoopsies, from New York to NASDAQ, but just hold on, I just minimized it. I don't even know where it is anymore. Okay, well, we'll find it anyways. But the end of the day, I think it's a buy down here. You know, the Palantir buyers will come in. I put on the sticky note this 106. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious that that's been the bottom. You wick down to 105. So what I said is that if we're going to play this dip buy opportunity, you buy it at 106. I mean, that's 106.50 maybe, 106.75. But you don't hold it past this 105. Not just because there's dark pools there, but because it's a $5 mark. Like, you're going to get 105. And if you break 105, you're probably going to 100 or 102.50. Like, it's just the way these options and all that kind of work. Yeah, so I could see some daily options, some weekly options in there at 105, maybe getting defended now. I don't think anybody was worried about 105s, and we were up here at 125 with only a couple days left here. And look, Palantir is going to do what it does, right? I mean, Alex is going to sell shares. And I mean, it's just an upsized move on how many shares. I'm not that nervous that there's going to be less government contracts. I actually think there's going to be more government contracts. I think they're going to trim from other spots and go into more defense and more data-based AI. Names, we talked about Snowflake. I still think I like Big Bear as well. But anyways, yeah, it kind of sucks to have this happen to a stock that you hold. But at the end of the day, we hadn't really been trimming. I think we told you guys that we got some out at 114 because we did, and we bought some Tesla. So that's not looking so bad right now, but I still think we can get 114. And then I wrote down 112 breakout, but it's really like 112.70. Anyways, if we get up into this area, I think we could just take 112 long. There'll probably be size at every dollar all the way up. I think we take it, but if you're going to be ultra conservative, maybe 113. So anyways, I'm not looking short on the name unless we break 100.
So on Palantir, worth noting, BBAI didn't break the low on that Palantir move. It made a low, retested it, and held it on Big Bear.
Yeah, I like Big Bear.
Because we went over there and went to short that on sympathy when Palantir was taking the low, and it worked. It just couldn't break the low. Palantir, I want to look for, because it's SSR, it's a day 2 short sell restricted play. So anything that resembles this type of downward trend, reversion. Simple plan, right? Like if you get one of these, if it's, I don't know, it could be 106, it does that off of, it could be 105, it could be 104. The point is, when a stock this big is SSR, I almost don't care. I just want to play these types of reversions and then play them into VWAP. And the other thing I want to see is if you're just flat out above 110, then I'm open to other longs, like higher lows, that kind of thing. If it breaks out and pulls back into 110, if it's over 110, I want to look for a trend long situation. The only shorts are if this thing fails the 110 level, because that was that big anchored, and that's where the first support started to come in. But yeah, got to be ready for like the mean reversion today.
7 million.
When this stock is done tons of volume and it's SSR, you almost want there to be that downtrend to make that reversion on. Speak of the devil.
Yeah, I'm just going to say quickly here because I was actually loading the imbalance locator up. Oh yeah, NASDAQ is not till 9:25. Okay, my bad. I was loading it up to see what the imbalance would look like on Palantir. But this is what it looks like on Big Bear. It's not great, man. Almost 1 million shares. It's done 2.5 million shares on the day. It's down quite nicely here, Big Bear AI as well, down 7%. They didn't catch as much heat, as Neil just mentioned there. What's up, Randy? But the volume came in, right? So right there at 320 yesterday when that news was dropped, this came in, this came in. So I'm going to tell you this little funny story. Hi, I'm here. I said to Sharif, I was like, all right, I'm not buying any more stocks anymore whatsoever. I'm just, be quiet, Randy. I said, I'm just going to put all the money, which I don't have that much, into index. I was going to buy S&P 500 basically from now on forever, just kind of dip buying like we've been doing, but just putting some more in every time, you know, instead, and some of the ETFs into those. But I said that 10 minutes after I said I'm buying Walmart right at the open because I was like, oh my God, this is a great stock down to the 53 moving average. And then right now when I look at Big Bear AI, I'm like, I think I'm going to be buying some Big Bear AI. And so
the premise,
about me not buying any more
No, but the premise holds. I'm a firm believer in the core positions in indices and dollar cost averaging indices and regularly buying them. But, you know, you got to have a little room for something, like the name we're going to talk about next.
Which is, ooh.
Right?
Yeah, good return.
Not bad.
Yeah, nice look for Bobo this morning, up huge here so far. Interesting note, they were specifically talking about AI. And let me find this again. Alibaba Group says AI could have a significant influence or even replace 50% of global GDP. That's not nothing.
No, that's a lot. So we'll have to wait and see how that all works out, Brendo. But we'll talk about how they did on revenue, guys. Here we go. Revenue and earnings beat. An easy one there, Fabian, with about 280 billion yuan and surpassing expectations there by the street of 279. Also, net income soared to about $6.75 billion, about 49 billion yuan. So good look there. Now, with respect to how they did in cloud and revenue growth, that grew 13%, their cloud unit, which is a little bit slower than what we've been seeing from Azure and AWS, but a bit of a different market there, Brendo. They're really focusing on AI for the future there with their Qwen 2.5 model. They're looking to accelerate that, obviously, with DeepSeek coming out as well. With respect to how they did on their bread and butter, which is Taobao and Tmall, revenue increased 5% year over year to about 136 billion yuan. The Chinese consumer outlook, though, still looks a little precarious. Retail sales only increased 3.7%. Kind of light for China.
Yeah, coming back in a little bit here, still better part of 10% to the upside. I mean, there's the other side of the coin when it comes to the AI angle and GDP. A lot of people have the opinion of, I mean, any revolution, the industrial revolution, the internet comes around, instead of replacing output, maybe we add 50% GDP because of the efficiency that AI is going to create. So let's be positive, why don't we?
Well, that's what people are saying. Like, you're not necessarily going to see mass job losses. What you won't see is new hiring.
Right.
So the same person is going to be responsible for 2 or 3 different jobs. So you don't have that net increase into. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, the output is the key, is going to be so much more significant. So 140, the top here, guys, today for Baba.
Yeah, we've seen this drill before. As far as the AI thing, at some point is the answer to that question. Of course, at some point, but how it plays out and how quickly it plays out, I don't think anyone knows. But look, the Alibaba has been on an absolute tear. The great news, big breakout, again and again and again. The bad news, I would say, is when Alibaba gaps up like this, we almost always see dip buy off the open. It already pulled back off of 140, so there's basically two places I'm looking right now. We got VWAP, which was already supported this 137, and then down at 133. I'm always expecting a 930 dip on a Chinese ADR that gaps up big. It's standard practice now, and I feel like if it does a reversion, or at least gets down to this 33 area, we'll take that shot. If it tries and never gets past VWAP, fair enough. But I'm expecting there'll be a little bit of a dip here, because that's what usually happens on these Chinese ADRs. And if you go long too early, you just sort of end up missing it out, and then you realize come 10:30, oh shoot, there was a better time to get in.
All right, so for me, Alibaba is going to be the number one trade here on the sticky note. I have the long written at 136.50, but the thing is, VWAP has now changed. So we're going to have to watch VWAP for sure. We wrote that down here. I'm watching possible 132 dip buy, so Neil and I on the same page. They're only looking long on Alibaba, but you can see right now. So now we're actually underneath VWAP, so I'm not as completely in love with it, but at the end of the day here, yeah, we're going to have to wait. That's 134 is the 200 period moving average. I might use that to start with now that we're underneath VWAP, so maybe 134. Feel like that's an opportunity. The reason why I wrote down 132, it's not, this 50 period moving average is going to take into consideration. We might have, we don't have 50 periods here on a 5-minute chart, but there's 132. It was, again, a dark pool wick right there yesterday at 8 o'clock. Plus, we had held a little bit at 130. So I just thought a 132 area could be where we're headed if worst case scenario happens and we drip down and then we're only up. We'd still be up on the day. It's just you got to watch out. I think Neil's right. You got to watch out for these dip buy opportunities. Alibaba's already gone. But Alibaba is actually a perfect example of why I only want to buy indexes. Let me show you this. So here's a weekly chart on Alibaba. We're all super happy, right? But really, unless you bought these dips here, right? And it didn't really, if you bought the 50 period here, sure, it went up, but then 6 months later, you're down 20%. You buy the 50 period here, that's great. But if you don't get out, then it comes right back again. And now this is a weekly chart. So you're only now in the money if you had bought it anytime after basically this January of 23. So you held this stock for 2 straight years with no money and down against you. If you bought, let alone if you bought it at any time before then. So this stock has been a disaster, but is now working. And that's great. Just like Steve Gomez said there, is that you want to trade the stocks that are winners. And you want to trade them when they are winning, not when they're losing. So I still own Alibaba, but congratulations to everybody for Alibaba. But at the end of the day, it's kind of in the same spot it was 2 years ago. And I still like the stock. I just don't trust these Chinese names. That's it. That would be, again, a reason why it's probably more of a swing trade than it is anything else. But if AI is real, this DeepSeek and everything like that, it's just a cheaper alternative to everything we've been seeing here in the United States, right? We don't even have NVIDIA on the board, and I'm not even looking at it.
Super strong.
Whoopsies, NVDA. I just wanted to look at it quickly here. 141, again, this name, although really nothing behind it today, still up that 1% and looking pretty nice. So again, NVIDIA doing work here against DeepSeek and against everything that Bob is doing. I like NVIDIA here as well. So if I could choose one or the other, my money would be in the king here. So I like NVIDIA more than Alibaba for long term, but for right now, Alibaba makes it to the top of the sticky note for a definite buy. Looks like we just held 137 there. So that 136.50 might not be far off. So I don't have any bids out anywhere yet. I just kind of want to see how this stuff settles down. And I know we're short on time, so we got to go. I just want to see Baba right there as a buy for the imbalance locator. So Alibaba buy 300,000 shares. All right, back to the desk.
Few bits too.
Worth noting for Unity, back to highs, back above 24, coming in a little bit here. But this was actually not a great report. The guidance, I was just reading, missing expectations as well. So the initial move downside, but something maybe said on the call there. Unity back higher, Walmart back higher now as well. The CFO saying that they think they can handle anything that tariffs brings as far as negativity is concerned, but that was the move down initially.
Yeah, they're concerned about that, Brendo, especially with Mexico and Canada, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Here's how they did. We got 4% revenue growth, a nice 180.55 billion in revenue, Brendo, surpassing the street's expectations there. U.S. e-commerce sales as well jumped decidedly 20%. That's 11 straight quarters of increases for e-commerce sales, so not a bad look. Now, with respect to the guide, how are we looking over here? So they're expecting sales and income projections to grow between 3 and 4%. To the high side, 3.5 to 5.5%. Some of the key growth drivers that they have here, they're looking at advertising, fulfillment services, because now they do something very similar to Amazon, and their membership income, which has helped by boosting high margins. They also increased the dividend 13% to 94 cents per share. So yeah, that'll entice some income generating investors. And to mention what you said, they're quite concerned about the tariffs and how that may affect supply chain.
Yeah, we'll see how that shapes up today. Meanwhile, this section of the show brought to you by our friends over at Foremost Energy. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy. Left the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your entry on the NASDAQ. Check out FMST for more.
There's a couple of, we'll talk about Unity for sure, I think, but for Walmart, we were just sort of saying like buying quality companies being a good thing. Yeah, Walmart's a great example of that. You know, I think like I recently bought it. In case it's not that recently, because a couple months ago off the 50-period moving average, it already bounced off that again today. I feel like if we had done this, if the open had come at a different time instead of right now, you know, you could be looking right in at this. Like I had 96 as a level, but forget that. Like maybe VWAP if you get any kind of a chance. We were seeing this more and more when you get a big dip on a stock that kind of reported well. It's getting bought up in the pre-market. So sometimes you need to make an adjustment. I feel maybe we need to adjust to maybe playing some things before 8 o'clock when they give you those types of bounces. Because I don't know that you're going to get any dip back into 96 or VWAP on Walmart. I just feel like that's a good company. And I already said I'm dollar cost averaging into it this year. So I'm buying off this level. I've already bought the 50 period once, and I'm going to buy it again. And if I ever see the 200 period, I'll load it up. The other name, and just because we have to go over this, the Unity, this reversal, it's very eerily similar to what happened in SMCI, where SMCI did the dip and then it eventually ripped faces off. So with the miss and then blowing out, that's exactly how you squeeze some people. And you look at the daily here, look at the support at 23, the 50 periods there. There was resistance, I should say, turning into potential support. So there's supply in there. I think a dip into 23 gives you an area to run. Unity reversal, I think it's probably trapped a few people down there.
Look, I really like we had mentioned, I had sort of made that joke there earlier about buying it at $95. And I mean, I had said that to Sharif when I sat down here, and it was actually there. So like I could have just made 5% or close to that if we had just pulled the trigger down there at the 200 period. So as Neil was saying, just believe in, you're not going to get an opportunity to buy it again at the 200 period, I don't think. I don't think Walmart goes back down to $95. You had a huge overreaction there. Everything in their quarter was great, and they increased their dividend. I mean, I don't see any reason why that level right there, and again, that's pre-split right there, so or this is post-split, but like you're not going to get another opportunity. So I would think that if you're going to be holding this name forever, that you should just buy it right off the open. I don't think it's going to go back to 95. So if that happens, fine. That would be a great buying opportunity. I'm going to let it settle down and see if that does happen. I can't believe it's such a strong move to the upside right there. You just made back half the move. So yeah, I would say it's a long, man. And we always talk about dips back to VWAP. That's 97. So yeah, Walmart looking real strong there. Dip back to 97. I think I'm going to put that bid in almost right now. So, all right, 5 minutes left. Let's go talk about Carvana.
You made a really good point this morning on Carvana, and that is how much individually they're making on a car when it comes out of their vending machine.
I think I threw that vending machine part in there. Yeah.
How does that even happen?
Yeah. I don't know, Brendo, but the gross profit per unit or gross profit per unit, what a GPU for Q4 of 2024 was $6,671, up from $1,400 the year prior. So I don't know what the hell they're doing and who they're buying from, Brendo, but they're doing real well. Let's talk about what they did on earnings. Q4 earnings of EPS beat handily 56 cents. The street was looking for 29. Revenue came in at $3.55 billion. The street was looking for 3.31. So an easy beat there. And their full year revenue was $13.67 billion, up 27% year over year. But this is what we're looking at here. The net income, they were able to shore up cost. They made $404 million for 2024. Have a look at that chart. That we were losing, or they were losing, $200 million in 2023 in Q4. So that's a good look there. And their guidance, guys, they're looking at increasing their retail sales growth there for Q1, as well as, shoring up costs with EBITDA. And they have, what they're gauging is a 1% share market expansion. They say that should definitely grow the business there.
So if they have that much margin, next time you go into a car dealership, you're definitely asking for half of that at least off, because they will as also. Just real quick, because I know we'll get to it here, crypto just took out the highs. Back to session highs here for Bitcoin, 1.8%. I mean, there's nothing significant other than what happened yesterday with the Trump administration talking once again about their goal to make cryptocurrency, or the U.S., the cryptocurrency capital of the world. So there's IBIT this morning as well.
Sell and balance of 3.2 million on Palantir. QBTS sell and balance of 1.2 million. Alibaba 600,000 with an N. Oh, that's the neutral thing. And then BBAI is still there, but Palantir, that's the notable one at 3.2. Just quickly on Carvana, it's not going to be SSR. I thought, obviously last night we were talking about it being a potential SSR down 10% play. It's not going to be that at all. So this turns into a bit of a nothing burger for me on this name. I guess if it could break out to 70, it would look a little bit interesting. But if it gets down 10%, that's where I was going to look for the mean reversion on CVNA. I think with Unity out there making its power moves, Palantir, Baba, SMCI, which we didn't get into. I'll just quickly mention SMCI. Yesterday we were playing it short. Obviously, we didn't know the Palantir thing was going to happen, but 60 was the open short yesterday. Over under 60 again today. So if we pop into the 60 level, looking fade on SMCI. We had to pay for locates, but they were dirt cheap for us here at Real Trading.
Thank you, Randy. No, I'm okay for Halls. I'm okay for Halls. Did you bring one? No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Wow,
no,
Randy
no,
brings his last Halls. I don't know, you should probably...
He already asked me. I already said no. No, Randy, don't worry about it. I don't need it.
Good man.
I'm sounding fine. I was just saying the coffee, I'm just like, I'm drinking it, but it's like, Palantir might be better.
Helping.
Okay, so here comes Palantir. We wrote down 106, and I said I'm not going to hold it another dollar past that. So here's 105. We're long at 105.57 right now. The market's coming way in on here on Palantir, obviously with that huge sell imbalance, and it's short sell restricted. So I'm going to stop out at 104.50, like I said, and I'm not even going to bat an eye at this. I don't have that many shares. It's in the pre-market. Look at the offer. It's crazy because you can't take this level out. Like, someone needs to buy this level. Like, look, I'm going to get stopped out here. So I'm just, but anyways, here it goes right now for Palantir. I actually have to punch myself out because the key that I use is not going to execute here in the pre-market. So, okay, so far so good here. Not really so far so good for Palantir, as we're starting to punch out now, as there it goes, man. Look at the sell-off here in PLTR with huge volume coming in. So we're starting to get, we got out of the majority of it. We'll hold a small piece here with only a minute left, man. We don't even have crypto talk yet. Only look at Palantir absolutely falling down. This could be...
Forget about crypto.
Yeah, forget about crypto. Well, we'll get to it. 98,000 right now on crypto. But, okay, with only now 45 seconds left, this Palantir is really, really coming in. Is Big Bear also feeling this pain too? Yeah, just a little bit. But it's Palantir on my mind here. You're going to have to see some relief. All that size is now gone, so that's nice. But at the end of the day, it's not stopping. It's short sell restricted here, PLTR, with only 30 seconds left.
This could see that 100 test almost.
That's what I was saying. It looks like that's what's going to be coming out for us very, very soon. PLTR getting hit right now.
If you like reversions, there might be something coming right off the open here on Palantir. Remember, it's SSR, even though it's not down 10%. Shout out to Foremost Clean Energy, the bell brought to you today by them. Scan the QR code and ring it in one. Oh, I almost called you a Dara. That was close.
Whoopsies. All right, we are now open right now. So, Palantir is at 101. I don't even know what's going on now. Our quotes are a little
Yeah, the
bit.
volume off the open is insane.
Oh, it just did go to 101. It did go to 101 there. Okay, I did see it, and I tried to buy 101.85s there and missed them, so that might come in again. But here we go, man. Wow, what a drip there. 101.10, 101.10 there for Palantir. Wow, Sweet Christmas is right there for Palantir as we look to see what's going on with it right now. All right, so default just set at 100 shares here. I'm not trying to go crazy here with PLTR. So here it goes, trying to make it back up to the upside now.
Wow, starting to come back in. Like that, yeah, it did get to 101. You're absolutely right about that. Looked for that reversion, but you're not going to get it anymore. I think maybe just an even break at some point. Maybe we'll retest the 103. SMCI was heading up. I was trying to fade that, but eyes are on Palantir. If you can take out its even dollar level, that looks pretty good. NVIDIA just bounced back into VWAP if you're looking at NVIDIA as well, but my eyes are kind of glued to Palantir if it's going to make a retest of that low and bounce, looking for that reversion play. It's trying to do it right now. It might just be a 103 play, at least first. I'm going to cancel my 100 stop. I don't know why I have that in there still.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
it had a 100 stop in case I longed in front of it, but
I was going to say this is starting to get insane a little bit here, but it's nice little bounce back up. I just wish I would have. It's not that I didn't trust the quotes or anything like that. It's just I wasn't really I was like, what's going on here? It was just a huge sort of washout there at the beginning of the day. So Palantir right now trying to feel some kind of ways as it's trying to get back to the upside now. So all right, 104. Okay. So here comes Palantir, man. We might actually make money on this trade after all. All right, so there goes Tesla as well. We are now long Tesla. We said we'd start the bidding at 358. This is a big move down for TSLA as well. I'm not even looking at the market.
You're not going to believe where not SMC.
Well, I mean, we almost have $1 in the money here. Where what is?
Alibaba 140 only.
Oh, yeah.
Alibaba's going to break out the highs any second now.
Yeah, you know what? It's all good because I'm back in the building. There's $1 right there on Tesla. Now we're $1.30 in the money on TSLA. So this is actually going to be hopefully fine. We'll wait to see what winds up happening right now. But there's the Tesla dip buy there at 359. It gave us that bottom. So we just said thank you very much and took it. So that was that right there. And by the way, this is now in the money right now. So we'll just go like this. We'll spin the money right now because there goes Palantir. Let's effing go. This one could get going here for Palantir. Back up to the upside, 105.50 right now. Good level there at to VWAP. We will take a little bit out right now on Palantir. Shame we don't have that. Like, I put a bid at 101.85 when that's what I saw there. But because it was so chaotic, I missed it. So let's go, Palantir. Bang, Neil. Let's go. This is what we're doing. We're back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Obi for covering, but I'm happy to be back. I hope you're happy I'm back as well. But here we go, man. Nice little dip buy opportunity there for Palantir. Wish we would have had a little bit more. We now wait for SMCI. And your Alibaba,
Alibaba just went right off of VWAP again. He'll show you guys a black chart. But Alibaba just bounced off of 138 a second time. It's tracking towards 140. Come to the chart quickly here, guys. Tracking towards 140. If we break out that top, it's 140.25 for Alibaba is the actual high. So let's see, is the chart back yet? No. I hit enter too fast when it was on a NASDAQ stock. So looking for that 140 level on BABA, it's at 139.90. Palantir, which I also dipped into just now when I thought I was actually hitting 104.5 and hit 104.77, but it just turned at that 106 level here on Palantir. So want to make sure it holds on to 104 on the way back. Palantir looking very, very volatile, and Alibaba, a couple of 100,000 shares on the offer of Alibaba right now. There we go. $140. If it fades the 140, we'll get out and play the break later. But it never actually got to VWAP. If it goes there again, we're going to take it.
Guys, let's go again. Like, okay, Palantir's trying to go back up. Great. We did get some more Tesla down here as well. So great trades there for Alibaba. I know Neil just went over it, but new high right now. Yeah, great VWAP. I mean, it's exactly what we said. Get it back to VWAP. So good trading there. Back to 137, 138. We really like that trade. I'm going to be really focused here. Tesla, again, we're long at 358.35s. We did get our 358s. We did put a little bit more shares there than we did there because this was the level that we wrote down. But look how dramatic this thing is, man. Up and down and around. The market is getting faded right now. So we got to be very, very careful. Where's our out here for Tesla? That might be what we have to worry about now because we're starting to break. 356, I'm gonna jump out of this if it does break. So we're going to buy some more 350. Let's buy some 356.50s or so, and then we'll leave it at that. We'll set our stop. Look, we'll do it live. We'll set our stop right here, 350. Yeah, we're doing it live. 355.99. I don't need to mess around with it. If it breaks it, it breaks it. Right there. We'll get out of that one because we're double barrel longs when the market is doing this. So not a great idea initially. Was a great idea initially, but may not be now, all of these longs. I see Palantir's obviously faded out. This is why we got to take profit. Like, we just got a 106 up there. But at the end of the day, let's hold out and see what winds up happening here with Palantir. The selling pressure is back in everywhere now. The market's really dumping. I said that Walmart.
It's absolutely dumping.
Yeah, so I have bids on, okay, here comes Walmart. Walmart's back to view up. I'm not going to take that because of what the market's doing. SMCI was the only short that we had written down.
I'm sitting in front of...
Wow, SMCI, yeah, it's not really doing anything.
I'm sitting out in front of SMCI right now. Yeah, it's not doing anything. But I'm sitting out in front of the highs, which...
And this
that's sitting at like 59.8, so we'll have to look for maybe like
Tesla.
a 58 level or something on SMCI. Alibaba just did a wick shimmy at the high.
Wick shimmy.
Well, okay, it's right back up. No, it did a failed break of the high and then came right back in. Now even going higher. So it's starting to hold the 140 level. The initial dip into the high worked out. Palantir, I just got out in front of that 106, so it's double tap 106. Let's see if it can hold on to VWAP upside, because it looks like it's making a pretty good higher low. And SMCI is starting to scream back in for the longs. Shoot, missed NVIDIA. NVIDIA back to VWAP. It kind of held on to, it didn't even get to yesterday's close level. So you're holding on to the 139 level on NVIDIA. And Unity is the other name I wanted to make sure. Unity gone. Now 20% to the upside. There was a dip, a small one at the open. Maybe this will come in. I think they've trapped some people here. I want to get this long. It's just a matter of where we can actually get into this name. It's insane, Unity. 20% after being down double digits on their earnings this morning.
So what did you wind up doing with your Palantir there?
I just got out in front of 106.
Okay,
There's now been sellers at $106 on Palantir on every single test. Come to my chart. Can we come to the chart for a second? Yeah, so every single test of 106, like bang, 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 even on the way down, I think if it breaks this out, it's a great long opportunity, but I didn't have a good price. I tried to punch back through when I saw some size at 104.5 and didn't even get that. So if we lose VWAP, I'll look back to 103 or 101 to try to grab a long. But I want to short an SMCI, and it's starting to come up. So like the next trade, I think, is going to be a test of this high on SMCI. Maybe getting into that 60 level, just looking for the mean revert here.
Yeah, so okay, good. Yeah, I was wondering about that Palantir. It's still at that 105 area, so that was a good out near 106 and change. All right, man, we have some shares on right now on NVIDIA. So, you know, we'll be mad about Tesla because I feel like Tesla's going to work, but at the end of the day, here we go, man. We make everything back pretty much with NVIDIA right now. Let's see if it can go. We supported that 139 area. I mean, it came right back in there. It went to 139. We bought it. Let's see if it wants to work itself out right now. That Tesla is too bad because we were in and out there at 55. Now it's up to 57. So Tesla continues to work. And I do think that was a definite missed opportunity by not holding on to that and getting a little bit more conservative. So I'm going to put I guess less conservative, 355, a little bit more aggressive is what I was looking at. 355 30s. We'll wait down there again, and then we'll put our stop at 354 and change just in case, because I still do believe in this name, and I don't want to just fire off random prices and everything. I wonder if it's made that bottom there. The volume's been pretty good on Tesla. There it goes. Oh, we should be long, but we're not. Okay, fine. All right, NVIDIA is the name that we're in. What else are we looking at there? You just did SMCI. Microsoft had a little bit. Okay, there goes Microsoft. Microsoft had a little bit of movement there today. You talked about quantum computing and whatnot. Microsoft 416 just gapped up there pretty nicely, 50 cents. I don't know what was up with that, but now this is trying to go back upside here as Softy 416, looking like a great little long opportunity there. I know you were in.
Rigetti's also, just quickly here.
Go.
Two things. SMCI just did an over-under at 59, and Rigetti just tagged that not 115, 1150 from yesterday. Triple top on it. It's trying to make a mean reversion of this level. It was on the note, and we talked about this all afternoon, how it couldn't break through that 115. So, 1150. you trade all these stocks that are more expensive, and then you get this in your head. $11.50 on Rigetti, looking for the reversion long here. See if we can pick up some 60s. And SMCI, we took our first curl in it. It just made a local high, 59.5. That's a dark pool right there. 59.5 is a local high, so we're short 59. It breaks the high. I'm getting out, and then we wait for the $61 level there. All right, Palantir, it's the other one we're tracking. It's still trying to make a nice little higher low here, but I still think it has a chance. Like right now, it's rejecting VWAP 106. Still a chance it goes back into that bottom for another reversion long, or maybe just you got to catch it on the way up. You couldn't really get that. On the way up, you just had to punch a level on the way up. Getting it once it starts going up was challenging, is the best way to put it. Very, very challenging.
Yeah, that's really too bad that we actually wound up having a decent trade there on bless you, and on Tesla, and then wind up giving it up there on Tesla. That's too bad. Okay, but the big winner right now for me is on an increased share size here for NVIDIA. I mean, we had talked about doing stuff like this, trying to find the best stocks. And I mean, I thought we had got that with Tesla, but my SMCI was, a good trade there. It's at $60 right now. I was going to wait for 60.50. I think that we could probably, that's, $60 is right there. Why we wanted 60.50 was kind of was like the ultimate short. You're short now, or you were short. Were you short SMCI or long?
No, I was only ever short.
You were short, okay. So
short,
me too, yeah. So that 60 was a great short. So I think we'll probably look at that. But I'm still waiting. I'm going to wait at where I'm waiting at 60.50 just to see if we do get that that push back up to the top side there on SMCI. So that's what we're doing right there. We're going to look at that play, 60.50. Let it get going here. Because honestly, guys, if NVIDIA runs right now, then this is everything for me. So we'll have to wait. Palantir, I'm just ho-humming this thing. Like, I'm going to buy some 103s if it comes down. It almost did. And then we'll just wait after that and see if it does wind up breaking sort of these bottoms. I'm not trading this with a lot of shares because this could have a $5 move, like, out of the blue. And I'm just like, oh, what just happened? So I'm going to wait for that. Wow, I still can't believe that flush that happened there straight off the morning. So the only other stock that I was looking at today, Alibaba's, wow, congratulations. That one's already gone. I wish we were long that one. And again, we just said trade back to VWAP. I know Neil had that. That was perfect. I should have looked at that a little closer on that one. And then Walmart was the one that I said may never get back to 95. So despite the market kind of making that move down and now all the way back. There's Walmart. Okay, so we just got into that. All right, I had a bid there. That must have been near where VWAP was for Walmart. So in the past. But anyways, we bought that 97 dip. I'm going to get out if this breaks 97 right now. This is not necessarily the trade that I want here for Walmart because it's well under everything, and that just popped in my blotter. So I'm going to wait to see if this does break up, but I'm going to use it. All right, well, right now we're decent amount in the money. So let's just take this 20 cents on a position that I'm like, we're only going to take it out for like, how many percent did I take out there? Okay, so I actually wound up taking out 25% right there. So Walmart right now looks to be a good trade. We're long at 97. I told you the break was 97 break. So we're about 1-to-1 on risk to reward right now. So we'll take a little bit out at VWAP and we'll see if Walmart wants to continue to fly a little bit higher. NVIDIA pulling back as well. So that SMCI short would have been great.
Palantir still not doing a heck of a lot compared to what it did earlier. That's the big story. Like, obviously what it did at the open was extreme. Rigetti just made this bounce off of 1150 a second time. It tried to get past 70s. I got some out there in front of 70s. There was no push through after we got in. So looking for VWAP to get a couple more legs out and see if we can hold on to it. SMCI would have been, obviously it would have been good the first time if I just hold on to it, but we put our stop at the prior mar high, pre-market highs. It's still underneath 60, so as long as it's underneath 60, I want to look for the short. Just got to get a bit of a reversion the next time through. All right, Palantir's at 03. If it breaks 3 and makes a double, I'm looking for 01s or 100 on Palantir for a bit of a double bottom play. And then Unity, even on all of this market pullback, Unity is still, it's just not even dropping. There's no chance to get VWAP for a continuation. It's just holding on at 25 here on Unity. I don't want to just jump into that one way too early, especially if the market starts to come in there. So And we got just over a third out of Rigetti on that first leg, but it takes the 1150. I'm out. Do not want to hold on if this is just going to revert the entire way back in. Looking for that hold of prior highs. The second it's underneath, we got to jump out of that trade. The Unity's on watch. Palantir now just broke that 3 level. So the revert on Palantir, remember it's SSR. It has nothing to do with 10% today. It was 10% yesterday. So any mean reversion, I'm taking the long opportunity on Palantir.
So it's
probably as long as probably all day.
Yeah, exactly. We just got some Palantir longs as well. All right, so honestly, guys, I mean, this play seems to be pretty good so far. Walmart, we just took some out at 76 right there for WMT. So again, long at 97.25s. We take 50 cents. We actually only have half left of this position because look what this market's doing. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that this market's ripping or anything like that. It's not even coming close to doing that. So we did dip by some opportunities here in Palantir. So now our average price isn't as bad, obviously, as it was in the beginning. We're still not even down on Palantir yet, so let's just wait to see here. We haven't been taking anything out. So if this does get disastrous, obviously we will wind up being down on Palantir. But for right now, it's okay. Let's just wait to see. Our average price is 104.3. The only red position we have right there is this takeout. But then we're able to get some out on the upside. And here we go again. So Palantir, going to be a good stock for me today. Just has to go. And I mean, for right now, we're flat on the trade, hoping to get a little bit more love on this. I mean, I would think VWAP of 105 would probably be pretty good right now for PLTR. So we'll put something up around this 104.70 area, kind of like where we topped out there before. That's actually 104.60. I'm a little bit higher than that right now. NVIDIA came in, so we're loading that up right now. So there's NVIDIA. If it breaks the quarter mark, the 3-quarter mark, we're out. So in just a matter of seconds right now, NVIDIA looks like it will be stopped. Almost stopped. Oh, almost stopped it. Stopped out? Yes, stopped. Did it break there? We got stopped out anyways. So it breaks 75 there, so we slapped a fail on that last piece of NVIDIA. You know, we tried it. It came down. It's really getting hit here. The market's short. We have to look short now. There's almost no other way. Palantir, look, we get that 104. We get 10. What did we get there? That was a good move up there. 103.97 there on Palantir on the way back in a little bit there. So not bad. Again, just trying to like relax a little bit here into the open because the market is really bleeding and a lot of the ideas that we had were long. So I think we got to look to short.
Unless it's
that SMCI short.
Unless it's Unity or Alibaba, it's probably not having a good open.
Was great.
Yeah, like everything else I'm seeing is nasty. Sean just went over Palantir. It did the mean revert. There it is. It couldn't break past 104. I got some out at the 104 with a 103 half and was looking at that same VWAP at 105. But if we lose 103, got to jump out of this. Unity still ridiculously strong. SMCI, that ended up being, I think it's kind of jokes that that's the loser, and this is actually now looking like a great short. But it did not do the curl. When I got into it, I got in the front end instead of the back end. Should have been in after it did the curl. This is why I like mean reversion setups instead of just playing a level. You got to be able to play that execution strategy a little bit better. So PLTR took some out. We're able to get some at the 104. Kind of like the last trade, like it just stalls out at a lower high and now it breaks 103. So again, out when you break the prior bar low and wait for the next opportunity on Palantir. Baba's still absolutely gone. As far as I'm concerned. But getting into SMCI on the south side, do still want to see if we can grab into that trade. It's about the setup. If we can get a bounce and play off 60 again, that would be the way that I'd like to be involved. I am no longer in Palantir. You just saw me get out of it when we broke that prior low. Thank you very much, Randy.
Yes, thank you, Randy, for that. Yeah, Tesla, nice little downside move. We just. Again, we got in and out. We're trying to hold a little bit of this. You know, we're taking some more outs here. We're long at 354.80 right now, but it's been pretty nasty. We got some good dip buy opportunities. Then we bought it again and lost there. And then it went right back to VWAP, so that was the kicker. Then it came back in and we bought the low. Then it broke it. Then we bought it again. So I don't know, man. This market right here, if we're going to do some work on the market, I mean, oh boy. So I'm still in Palantir, which seems to be fine. The market is still fine. It's just if we break this on the Qs, it looks like 536, then we could be in a little bit of trouble. So the market go boom today to the downside, that is for sure. After just making all-time highs. We closed out yesterday at all-time highs. So no surprise there. All right, so here goes Palantir right back into 102. So I think we're trying to buy a little bit of this low here, but if we break through that 101, then I think it's probably finished. So that's 101.10 is what we held right there off the open. So let's just see if that is something or not right now. 101.10 here.
Just
go ahead, yeah.
CCL's about to go SSR, and I don't have a story on this.
I thought CCL was super strong.
Carnival is absolutely bleeding right now, and it's popping off any scanner that you're looking at. Down 9.5%. Brendan?
Just reading through this right now, guys. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick saying President Trump's goal is simple: abolish the IRS and let all outsiders pay. He even pointed to cruise lines not paying taxes as an example. So, I mean, maybe just an algo move here right now. But again, he even pointed to cruise lines not paying taxes as an example.
Not paying.
That feels like it should. Like it's doing a reversion right now. Like it's
abolishing the IRS.
This would be the decision point. Abolishing.
I am moving to the United States.
He's not the first person to say that.
Taking this.
He's not the first person to say that.
Okay.
Anyways, I was an accounting student in first year, and I remember the joke that particularly one of the main professors made. He divided the room up. Okay, I'll say it in a second. I'm going to play this in a VWAP. I just feel like anytime Trump makes an announcement like that, if there's a reversion set up, I just want to take it. I didn't get the break of the prior bar high on that bottoming tail wick. That would have been 85. I got 95. So that's literally on a $24 stock. That's a bad fill. So I took half. So I'm in half. I'm going to try to play it back into VWAP on the reversion. But all I would say, he basically told a third of the class to put their hands up and said, this third is going to work at the accounting big six with any luck. And then the other third, he's like, yeah, you guys are all going to work at just like medium-sized firms. And then the bottom third of the class, he's dividing it up by like how you're going to perform. You guys are going to work for the CRA. And that was the joke he made. The CRA is just our IRS here in Canada. And it's not my joke, but plenty of politicians have said abolish the IRS. So it just feels like that's rhetoric. If CCL can get to VWAP, great. My stop just went from prior bar close, I guess, would be like 23.75. I'm going to slap it at that high at 23.85. So CCL doing a bit of a dive on that story, I suppose. I guess so. I don't really have a pun that I can make for that I want to, because that would be a little bit too morbid. And the next thing that's going to happen is...
Palantir is...
Okay, well, I just got distracted by that chart. Palantir's right back at the 101. So the $100 level reversion I'm going to play on Palantir. I said every single time this does a downward trend or sharp trend, I'm going to try and punch every single revert back up. All of them. Until... Yeah, I'm just going to take them. It's a very specific set.
Oh, wow. It's going to break that 101. I'm out. There it is. I mean, as soon as that happens, I was out. Yeah, 100's coming.
Oh,
I guess we
SMCI.
Do we just slam this 100? But you can't, actually.
SMCI is it?
The only short we had written down, and it was 50 cents away. Yeah. That's too bad. That is very too bad. But I mean, if you're trading today and you're long, then you can't win. So very, very tough day today.
You've seen him.
Sure.
You know how strong he is.
There hasn't been really.
You can't win.
Yeah, you can't win. Yes. Oh, shoot. Yeah, there goes Palantir. So, all right. So there it is. So we are expecting a little bit of a So there's that 100 break. We had mentioned that we tried the long there. We're actually okay. It was really Tesla's the one that's getting hit here. Down to 350, and we're just kind of chilling out in this one.
You couldn't even get filled back through 100.
Now it's $100.60. Great bounce back there for Palantir. So yeah, let's wait to see. There it is. There's the retracement back up. We'll try it now to get that short again and just try to hold this not again for the first time, and just try to hold it a little bit. I mean, if we retest that 100 marker, I think that would be a decent spot. We'll get out of something down here. There it is. Yes, sir. Okay. This day is just turning itself around right there. You do not be stubborn when you're trading, baby. This is now the biggest winner of the day for Palantir. There's the short, Neil. Wow, what a short. We're now $1.20 in the money, and let's just start getting it out. So there it goes, man. From loving Palantir to shorting it and putting it, bang, right back in the pocket. That's a big trade for me. There goes Palantir. Thank you, Palantir. We put on the, it doesn't matter. We said we're not going to talk about share size, but I'm not sitting here we're getting crushed when we use share size and it goes against us. But when it works, man, oh boy, right there. There goes Palantir. Down to 99. I don't know where this thing's going to drop, but we just did it, everybody. That's a monster trade for me right here, and it's Palantir and it's short, and there it goes, Neil. Now $2 in the money. Let's go right now. I just feel really happy being able to grab that trade there because it actually made sense. You know, it retraced back through 100. It got going because it's SSR. So it's like everything that we try to teach and everything that we try to do, this is where one of those lessons that's real time. You know, obviously Neil does his lessons there at noon and it's looking back at things. This is a real time right there, trying to get those trades back in the blotter and actually making real cash. So there it goes, man. I love those SSR bumps, Neil. We talked about that with SMCI as well. It's too bad that we weren't able to take advantage of that. But we're now out of more than half.
Speaking of SSR,
go ahead.
SMCI's SSR in about 5 minutes. SMCI is going to be down 10% in a quick little second. Look, I'm still over. You got to watch Palantir at this particular moment. I want to be stage to stage. I don't even know if I want to be in 4 or 5 things at one time. I think you got to grip it and rip it and pick one stock. So I did have the revert back through 100, came right back out at 99.90. I think I was able to get out. So I still like the mean revert, but at this point, you're absolutely bleeding. SMCI, I said, obviously, this is now, it was a heck of a short. If you could have it, I followed my rule, but I did not get back into it. So that's a fail. Follow the rules in, did not follow the rule to re-short the trade. At this point, I'm not punching any lows on this stock. NVIDIA just held up pretty nicely, relatively speaking, but it's down 137.5. We're about to get 10 o'clock, so I'm going to let this 10 o'clock candles close and then make that next play in. But it is an absolute bleed fest, and the one stock that I wanted short, I'm not hitting the low when it's 10% down. It's just not an entry for me when you're at that 10% marker. We'll look to see if we can't catch a fade on the way back up for SMCI because we still have that prior low to be able to contend with as well. So, yeah, it's a nasty market here. NASDAQ just went 1% down.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy is right. Okay. Here we go, man. Palantir now 3 right now. So, all right. But we have bigger problems. We don't have bigger problems, but Tesla just goes up. So we're still in a little bit of this one. Obviously, wish we were not. Wow. Palantir is now almost $4. This stock is absolutely doing everything that we thought it would. 353. Well, I mean, we thought it would after the 100 break. I mean, obviously, we were long before. I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, we nailed this stock because neither one of us nailed it, that's for sure. But right now, we are actually up right now on Palantir. How in the hell am I green right now on PLTR? And the reason why, again, is just following simple and people in the chat we're doing it real time because that's what we're doing. We're putting these trades on, explaining them real time. And that was that bump back up there. SSR bounced back up on a key level break. And now, Neil, we're sitting in $4. Okay. So, all right. Oh, shoot. He brought me a coffee. All right, do we have numbers at 10 or something?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, all right, let's go to Brendo.
About a minute to go here. We'll get the Conference Board's leading index for January. Flat print expected. We'll see what that comes out as in under a minute now, about 55 seconds. That's the market overall. Ugly, straight to the downside, right from the word go so far this morning. If you missed it, again, CCL, ouch. Big move down. Again, Secretary Commerce Howard Ludwig saying President Trump's goal is very simple, to abolish the IRS and let all outsiders pay, quote unquote, let all outsiders pay. Even pointed to cruise lines specifically as not paying their tax bills. So CCL, RCL as well, downside. Chinese ADRs, big moves here to the upside this morning, giving most of that back right now for Alibaba, coming off better than expected results. Baidu got a nice bounce as well off of that. Baba report got all the way to 92.75 there at the high out of the gate this morning. Back to the downside we go for Alibaba or Baidu as well. We'll get this number here for you as it comes out in a couple of seconds. Again, the Conference Board's leading index for January. Still not populating for me. It's typically not a market mover. I'll let you know if it does come out, anything that would be significant, guys.
Oh, we didn't get the number? Okay.
No, I'm trying to wait to see if Tesla breaks this. This will be a hit, right? On Tesla. If it
Bob was
breaks,
at go ahead.
Bob was at VWAP, yeah. But I mean, look at the market. Wow.
Bob was just at 144. It's now at 140.
Yeah, well, I mean,
To give an idea,
yeah, no
obviously the
surprise
market
there.
is
we took a bunch
market's
out.
feeling ways.
Yeah, the market's feeling kind of ways right now. There it is. Wow. Okay, Tesla just dropped out there pretty good through 350. Minus, okay, so it's out right now. Minus 0.3 versus minus 0.1 is that number we're looking at. So that's worse there for the market, and we continue to dive down in. My number one, I mean, we lost our whole day on Tesla, but my number one stock and the P&L number one will be Palantir as that just continues to go. But here's a little bit of a bounce back up. Right now, I'm going to put some, oh, well, not really. I'm going to put another bid up there. Do I keep trying Tesla here? I mean, 350 break long. I could try it maybe one more time. But
It's at the 350?
That's way lower than that. That might be...
348 was the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be a trade coming through right now for TSLA. So we'll probably try that on a pushback a little bit there, but we're almost $5 now in the money on Palantir. So this continues to be great again and again and again on the short side. I mean, we're not happy about that. But that 348 does seem to be a little bit of a bottom right there. What was that? Anyways, I don't know. All right, so there goes the move down. Now 96. We're now going to be $5 in. I'm going to put another bid here. We have 20% left of this trade. So obviously I wish we had the whole thing, but we didn't start taking profits till about $1. So that's pretty good. But there's the bleed in right now. So Neil's got long Alibaba. I'm short Palantir.
Which is, I mean, the market's dying, everybody. Okay, fine. It's 1.2%. I know every now when we say dying and things like that, remember I'm looking at a chart of Palantir and SMCI and a lot of things that are more than 1% to the downside. So Nasdaq's bad, but at the end of the day, I just looked up and it was like, why am I? We
don't even have a green candle.
It's a mean reversion trade, but forget about VWAP. If almost anything you're long breaks a prior low, I'm just getting the you know what out of Dodge. So I'm flat out punching out if we break this low on Alibaba, and the first thing I did was start scalping out of it. Yes, it's strong, but at the end of the day, the market is an absolute wreck right now, and it's not showing any signs of catching a bid. Like the 15-minute is on the daily, like that's kind of broken here on the NASDAQ. So it needs to calm down. It hasn't even decelerated to the downside just yet. BABA obviously can do its own thing, but I have this theory about I don't care how strong a stock is. If the sentiment gets too bad in one direction, it's not going to matter. Even that thing that was good before can turn into an abject disaster. So, if we break 140, I'm going to jump out of that trade. Just one more for you here, because as you mentioned, Tesla did the bottoming tail wick at 348. So 348, this is the low from, what was that, like last week and like Thursday and Friday of last week. It was just bounced off that. So we're going to do a mean revert here off 350. I'd like to see this higher low form on Tesla. It's going to close breaking the trend line and probably be a tricky entry point, to be honest with you guys, because the way the stock's moving around, if it closes breaking this trend, it might do like a $1.50 candle and I can miss the punch, but we're on it right now.
Yeah, we're in Tesla right now. We almost got $1. We're long 350. Let's just wait to see if it works, man. I mean, I'm going to take something out at 351 if it goes. Palantir, we just took some out at 98 because it broke through 98, so we'll take a little bit of a bid there. Out of that, we have less than 20% left on Palantir. Oh, we did we get that Tesla, Phil? Oh, yeah, we did get it. Okay, good. We did get it at 90. Sorry, it wasn't at 90s. It was at 80s there. Oh, you know what? I think I put an offer. Oh, no. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. I just put the wrong price, I guess, because I do have one at 99 as well. I must have had one there from before. That was kind of those little areas because we were always going to take this break back through at 350. It might not work now. We're long at 350.02. I am trying to, as Neil mentioned, I don't want to talk about the same stocks as him, but I'm looking at that 348. So we'll see if that comes into play there again. Palantir, great dip buy opportunity. That is for sure. As the market right now, I think you were right. It was absolutely cracking there, the market, and now it's trying to battle itself back. I'm going to take an opportunity right now because of where Alibaba's at, like you just mentioned there. There goes Palantir, there goes Tesla. So I definitely am liking that. Alibaba's VWAP, from what I can see right now, just a little bit more, is right here at 140 and change. So
of interesting note to me right now.
Yeah.
Apple never broke its low.
Right, I saw that, yeah.
Always try to look for, one of the other things you try to do in this time is like scan around because you might be missing something that's important information. And Apple held on to pre-market lows.
Let's go Tesla.
Apple just curled here off of the prior close as well, 244.80. So there's a reversion happening on Apple. I like a mean revert in a market like this. And we talked about this yesterday. One of the thoughts was, why always take reversions in things that are weak? Why not try to revert something which was strong? So a breakout pulling back into a prior support on a relatively strong stock, take the shot on that. So I'm going to get into Apple. It just did a trend reversal. It never broke the low of the day. Stop goes underneath right in here, and we'll see what Apple's able to do. If that was like a capitulatory bottom on the day, why shouldn't Apple do well? That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Apple there. I think that new phone is pretty cool. I think they'll sell a lot of them. All right, so up to the 50-period moving average, we take 30 cents on Alibaba real quick. We'll still hold it, but if we break, then we will get out around a 139.89, right? So a little bit through 140 there. We'll see if that breaks. Otherwise, we'll just sit in here and mean mug a little bit at Baba. Let's go Alibaba. I mean, we knew this was going to be a good stock for us. So far, so good. I do have more offers up here. I'm waiting at 140.80. Hopefully that can come through. And then after that, that 142 sort of spot would be kind of cool. So we'll put one at 141.30 just to look up here where we've been at. So again, it looks like it wants to break, but we're trying to be here for this trade. So, all right, Tesla, nice move, upside right there before it's coming back. So we take a bunch out. We talked about where we were getting out. That's a 350 long. We've lost money on Tesla today, but we're taking some back here by playing some of these reversions. All right, Brendo.
Guys, the information just reporting they're making moves to commercialize their open source AI Llama. And they're aiming to make Llama the industry standard. They've picked up Salesforce for former Salesforce AI CEO to do this or lead this initiative. So Meta looking to commercialize Llama a bit better here, trying to bounce.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. But I feel like these AI headlines are going to not what they used to be. Not what they used to be. That's just my 2 cents. You're in a moment right now where some of the strongest stocks out there that have been doing a lot of this run, like Palantirs, when they start pulling back, sometimes you just get a little bit of a risk-off moment. I feel like we're going to be in that one right now. I was about to talk about Palantir, but I got to go over to Alibaba. It does not hold. It doesn't look like much, but there was a wall at 140, and there was a wall at 140 at the open, and it just lost that wall. So until it reverts trend back up, I'm not going to fight the stock, man. Alibaba's been good. If you're looking for a long, it's been a good long. But at this point, it's now trending back into the downside. It needs to do some kind of a reversion and change that trend. So I'll continue to take pot shots at it, but I just don't want to turn it into a mess, have a green stock go red, try to keep it in the pocket, try to keep the losses smaller than the wins. The losses smaller than the wins. Almost said that the wrong way. Same thing with Apple. Play the reversion, get out when it breaks the low. Not fighting anything to the long side. If you got a big short, you can hold on to the short, that kind of a thing. But when it comes to the long, I'm not going to be fighting any of those moves in here today. You just don't want to turn red on them. And there's a few things that we haven't looked at. Now that I'm flat and being patient, I want to go over and at least acknowledge, shout out to you in the chat, Tobes. Oxy continuing its strength. It's about to go V-shape and break the upside. Oxy's tracking to break out this top on the daily. And remember, if it breaks 53, it was at 55 level that Buffett was always buying. So that prior level should be pretty big if it gets there. Oxy having a strong couple of sessions and breaking out the highs here today. So there is some strength out there in the market. That's why it's not like the ES is even 1% down. It isn't.
No, the NASDAQ's only 1% down now. A nice little battle back there for the NASDAQ. All right, so we'll remain zeros on Alibaba because we took profit and got out right where we got in pretty much. We talked about that. So, and it's a good thing you have stop orders in, right? Or else there it goes, right? We made the mistake earlier about slipping up on Tesla, letting it go down, only for it to rebound back up, which was nice. Palantir, same kind of an opportunity. I'm going to take another bid rate here at 98. Just in case. Okay, Trump.
More?
Right. Oh, shit. Regulators need to be, oh no.
Kidding me.
Regulators need to be tougher on Boeing is what I just heard right now.
It's already in the dump.
Yeah, it's already well, the whole market got crushed. So, yeah, really so there's another story here. If we look at Boeing. Yeah, I don't know, man. 182. Okay, so it's not affecting it. Anytime I hear a headline about Boeing,
I hear Trump and I hear Boeing and harder on Boeing. My first thought was, is this a punch short? Over there. But then you pull up the chart and it was not. Like, I don't see it. It's not moving the stock. It was already down with the market. If anything, Boeing was just taking a bit of a bounce back into the upside. All right, I want to stick to the names that we want to trade here. So just very quickly, I'm going to show you Alibaba. It's into VWAP now, and you still have a pretty distinct downward trend. There was this one that we tried the reversion on. It broke down. Now we're trying to hold VWAP, close above the trend line, and go for the long entry one more time in here. What else is going on? Palantir is still battling the 100 level.
NVIDIA's 100 million shares.
NVIDIA's holding on to a higher low, but even it's retesting lower. So like the market's still looking overall weak. If Baba can make this break of trend, I'm going to try and go into the long trade. But while we're waiting for that, SMCI, remember I said it was possibly going SSR? Well, if it breaks the low, it's short sell restricted on SMCI. And remember, they still have the deadline looming next week. They have till next Tuesday to file. That actually has not happened yet. If we break the low and go 10%, the SSR bounce, I'd look for a long play off a reversion trade. But right now, Baba's the only thing holding on to VWAP that I can see that I like. And if it breaks the trend, I'm going to go into that long. Still only 10-11. There's plenty of time.
10-11, oh my God.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to try to work into anything that wants to pop up and give a fade trade. Because there's not much that I want to short at any lows, I'll tell you that.
All right, I'm just going to put another, was it 96.50? I mean, I feel like the move is probably done. I'm not just saying that. I'm just looking at the market here. Okay, all right. Well, I've never seen Palantir do this. Maybe I'm still delusional from all the meds. But it was just at 99.50. And then it just waxed, look at this. And then it just, 99.30s. And then the minute's not even done yet. 97.70s. So in less than a minute, we went $1.60 there. So I don't really know what. All right.
Volatility is high.
Yeah, volatility is high. All right. So there we go, man. Let's just continue to watch Tesla. I want to thank you to Pro Day Trader there with all that, man. There he is. Thank you so much, Pro Day Trader. Look, we're trying to be pros, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're trading here for income. We're trading here to make some money. And I mean, we're doing fine today. We got hit on Tesla, and I know that's what you were talking about. Palantir is going to be a very, very interesting stock. Look at all these outs here. Just crazy to the downside there on, like we said, man, so much volume and just so much opportunity to get in and out right there. Oh, I just got an email from VinFast. Yo, what's up, VinFast? All right, shout out to VinFast. Let me check out what Rivian's doing real quickly, just to look at another name. All right, so this is down 4% with earnings tonight. This could be a good name to look at if you know anything about Rivian, falling right back in and right into this 13 level. I mean, I was thinking about some of this consolidation that was down here. Very, very choppy, and then eventually does not break it until yesterday or a couple days ago morning. And then it rips all the way to 1450 and then now absolutely collapsing. So if you liked Rivian 3 days ago, well, now you're getting a 10% haircut. So my barber charges 10% more every time I go, it seems like. But this haircut right here is giving you a discount. So $13.30, we'll see what winds up happening right there. But this could be a decent level there for Rivian. And then
My barber might get a haircut because
he should.
My daughter, for the first time, might have approved the bald look.
Yeah, the bald look is good for you, for sure. Those grays getting to be a lot. Right there, Uber. I'm just playing around. We're the same age.
It's true, though.
So Uber right now, I mean,
Pump it.
it's holding up pretty good. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to say. Uber's flat on the day. You know, with the ES down,
Flat on the day
NASDAQ
is up.
down.
That's up.
Everything down. Yeah, Uber up. So Uber right now, green on the day, breaking the 200, breaking VWAP, breaking the 50, now trying to go higher. This is not looking horrible. My problem is, Ray, I mean, I don't have a problem. We're $2 in the money, $1.70 in the money on Tesla, but Palantir's made a move back. So like I said, okay, I'll take advantage. Every time it dips, I want to take a little bit of an advantage on that because it just fell into 99 again, and I didn't get any bids, and it almost just broke 100. So like I was saying, this stock has so much movement in it. You need to take advantage. Either you're long or you're short, but on these spikes up or down, it's making a difference. Like my P&L is like jumping around here, and it's just like, wow. All right, so just to be honest with everybody, obviously, we have 15% left of Palantir. We talked about that. We only had 20% left when we were down here. We had mentioned that. I think it was 23 or 24% we had left. Outs, all here, 97, 98. Oh, look at that. We just got that fill right now. 99.10. I'm going to cough. 99.10. We just got out right there. So this is sort of what I'm talking about with being able to trade these names. All right, I'm going to take another piece right here because I don't think I have a 52 for Tesla. So there it is. We'll just punch out now at 52. So thanks, Pro Day Trader, for, not talking me into it, but saying let's try to hold on to this Tesla because this could be one. So yeah, good trade there for me on Tesla. Now $2 back in the money. Palantir's still $1, but looking like it wants to break 100 again. This time, I guess it's for real because you don't get that SSR break anymore. That little bump up there was perfectly shorted, honestly. Like, very lucky to get whatever price we got there, 85s. Well, we're still in it, 74s. So that was just a really good price to be able to get there, and took advantage of it. So I don't know if we get that bump again, but that 102, you never want to mess with something if it's going to break back above VWAP. So I'm thinking we'll probably let these last couple shares ride until 102 break.
Yeah.
And Uber's going up, since I mentioned it.
Uber's going up. Even SMCI got a good bounce. NVIDIA's now made a double bottom and starting to trend a bit higher. BABA held on to VWAP eventually. So it did the revert trade. I mean, I kind of already went over this, but did that little reversion, held VWAP. I got 139. I actually got in a couple times at 70s and then the last time at 82s. But it just played into 141 where when it bounced the first time, there was a wath of selling in the 41 even to like 41 quarter to half range. So got some out in front of that. Going to play it into this lower high. It's still a big trend break in a down market, so I want to play it into the high of the day and take it station to station. So BABA looks strong. I think that looks absolutely fine right now. I actually just typed in Uber when I meant to say Unity because you were typing about Uber.
Yep.
I didn't even do it today. Unity's up 19%. Unity. You have to. Contractually obligated to do that at least once when the stock is doing something. It's on one, and it's still very strong. But as Sean said, like this, it's not the spread. It's the manner in which it's moving. Do nothing, jump. So it's either going ham or consolidating. And I think playing this, I want to play it off of consolidation, not off the ham moment. So let's see if it can do, if it goes sideways, I want to join this and see if we can't get a squeeze play to the upside. Have not really acknowledged Carvana at all today, which I guess is not the, there was an opportunity on Carvana if you were short this at the open. And we talked about this in the aftermarket show last night that I felt they could be under a little bit of pressure, if nothing, just because people start reevaluating fundamentals and anything that was running on a lack of fundamentals might be in trouble after what we just saw in bleed in the afternoon yesterday. So it did make that move, but it's holding the low. It's SSR, it's down 10%, and it's very close to the 50 period. So if it makes another break of the low, now that it's within $10 of it, 235, 50 period moving average, I'd look for an SSR bounce on Carvana. Don't know if it happens. I think BABA is going to be a good one here today for sure. And I want to see if we can't get into that Unity trade. It's a blowout. If the market bounces, it's already got squeeze potential on it. I don't want to take a break. I just want to see a consolidation where I can play the consolidation, kind of get into a long break and give it to the prior low. Unity up 19%. But remember, it was down 10 points when they announced their earnings. Huge, huge reversal. We like those plays.
Yeah, thanks. Great trade there on Alibaba. I mean, that back down to VWAP. I mean, that's like, we should be on it. It's literally what I wrote down. Like, VWAP hold on earnings, get long. Like, so there's Alibaba. There's VWAP. Sure, it breaks a little bit, but we could have looked at it and played it back in. It's coming back right now into that play. Oh, just real quickly here. Because Palantir is getting close, it's at the 50 period. I'm going to take a just ripped up. So I'm going to take a very, very small piece here. I'm actually waiting at 101.85, basically right up here, right at VWAP. And then if it breaks 102 quarters, then I'm going to get out. I almost have a feeling that, like, wow, what a trade. Shout out Chef Joe. Shout out everybody out there. Like, we could sit here and be like ho-humming all these trades, but this is $4. We've had $4 or $5 winner on Palantir, or $4 or $5 winner on Palantir at one point today. And then here's a $4 winner right now on Tesla, as that goes right back there up to the upside on that one. So, you never have as many shares as you like, but that's a good move back up there for Tesla. So, yeah, man, we'll make some money back on that play. And there it goes right now. We do want to remind everybody that we do have Hall of Famer and one of the best quarterbacks of all time, obviously,
yes.
Brett Favre. So he'll be on at 10:45. We'll talk to him, see what he's going on. And Brendan has, a great interview lined up. We'll see if we can come over here for a few questions. So, stay tuned for that. Only 20x minutes away right now before Brett Favre. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, seriously, Lemieux Trading Systems, Brett Favre.
Yeah, I mean,
just like Brett Favre, question mark? Seriously? 100%.
Yeah, it'll be our biggest athlete so far. By name. We did have...
that's saying a lot. I mean,
we did have NBA Rookie of the
Michael
Year.
Carter-Williams
Michael Carter-Williams on before. So, yeah.
He had some tripped ups.
Yeah. Well, NBA Rookie of the Year.
Not in the Hall of Fame, though.
Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame.
No. Hall of Fame. Yeah, no. So, I mean, Green Bay's been blessed with great successes and great quarterbacks. That is for sure. Okay, so we'll talk to him in just 20 minutes. Brett Favre will not be in the building, but he'll be on Zoom or Skype or something.
Right, here comes VWAP.
Why did I just say Skype? Does anybody? What the hell?
If
I said Skype in front of my kids, they'd be like,
I'm sure
on?
people use Skype still somewhere.
Does it exist still?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So
I was just like, maybe people, I don't know.
You're in my boat. All right, just quickly, I'll throw it back to Neil just quickly, but I did take out some there because it's so tipsy-turvy. We get VWAP up there. That's supposed to be a great trade. So could have gotten out of it all. We didn't. It faded back to the 50 period, and we got something out there on the 50 period MA. So, yeah, there it is, Smokey Love. Yeah, there's no more Skype, I don't think. Yeah, hella 2010s. Yeah, that's right. Oh. I remember when I was phoning traders across the world, we were using Skype, and I remember I'd have to put, like, Skype credits into the account and all that stuff. It was wild. And now we just do this over YouTube, of course.
Oh, shoot,
and it's been a great jam. So, yeah, what's going on with Intel?
I totally forgot about Intel.
Yeah.
Intel was a short yesterday. Intel's underneath, everything. Intel is at VWAP. Intel is trying to revert. Intel should be a short at VWAP. Let me just get that all out as quickly as possible. The other thing that's happening is we're getting a retest on Alibaba of VWAP as well. So I want to get into this short, give it to like 25.25. But Alibaba, it's like you can bounce a little bit, but how far can you really go? Like that last bounce goes into 141, same thing as before, runs into resistance. Prior lows at 139 even. I'm catching on the way up, but if we lose the even dollar, we're jumping out of it again. Like Alibaba's been good. It's just a matter of where's the follow through, because that's what happens in a weak market. You don't always get the follow through that you want on those long trades. Still holding VWAP for now, but the new trade is Intel, kind of a little bit of a trend break and a reversal back in through VWAP, down 2.5%. It was one of the stocks that had been up for like several days in a row and then caught a reversal yesterday. So it doesn't have anything to do with Palantir or SMCI, but it's like a similar pattern, like things that were strong that faded off. Want to look to fade them again here today. So we're in for the first time to Intel. I should also point out a heck of a reversal on AMD. So just for anyone paying attention to AMD recently, AMD has monster resistance every single time it is popped. Look at these wicks every day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got a ridiculous topping tail candle 5 days in a row. If it does it a sixth and I'm not looking short on AMD, then I'm failing. It's that simple.
That's the thing, man. We got to.
Well, it's.
Here's some Marty. What do you got? What you got here, Marty?
What's he saying?
We need to bet on tonight's game. $100 super chat. I don't have a USA anything, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd love to I'd love to do that. So I can think if I could find something American on there. But thanks, Marty. Let's. I'm just going to worry about the market for right now, and we'll deal with that. I mean, I'm going to be watching the game, that is for sure. It should be an exciting one there today. I'm actually going to check the live odds for the game tonight. We'll figure out what those are. I think it's
The U.S. is going to be.
Oh, well, I think the U.S. will be favored because they're at home.
Yeah, and they won the last. Home and won the last match. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. They beat us in Montreal, which is a tough space to play in for sure. So
You know what my wife told me?
what's that?
When we were in Montreal, apparently the storm that we were in over the weekend was like the most snow they've had in like 100 years or something.
Oh yeah, I believe that. I mean, we had more snow this weekend than we had all of last year. So
Insane. It was fun.
in case you didn't know,
It's a fun trip.
what's that button that we have over there? The more you know.
The more you know is the
I
one.
mean, I need to have that button over here, but I'm trying to drop some. There we go. You're lame, Sharif.
Come on, Sharif.
All right, so here we go. So Tesla, still a good trade, man. We're still long down here at 350. Looks like it's $3. Palantir's giving me a heart attack all day, but at the end of the day, it's right back here. Look, it just dripped into 100 again off of another short. So we kind of shorted the same level here. I'm going to give it back up to VWAP. If it breaks it, it breaks it. I am bidding 100 even. So I got a little frivolous there. We could have, you know what? Let's just bid $100.35 just to get out of like 10% of what we have, just because that's where it held. And then we'll get it at another piece at 100, and then hopefully it will drip down. And if it doesn't, we will wind up getting out. The missed trade of the day, because I feel like this is important, I was very close to just hitting that right there. I thought once we had this run up into $60 that we were going to break 60, and written right here on the sticky note that obviously I post every day was 60.50 short. So I was just thinking if it broke 60, we could have got a little, I mean, I couldn't have predicted this market move, but if that would have happened, then I feel like we could have got a little bit closer. Then we might have punched 60 short. At the end of the day, definite huge missed opportunity there for SMCI. Like, you think I'm holding Palantir for $4 or $5. I'm holding Tesla right now is $3.50 in the money, right? So we are very, very capable of holding these trades. It's just a matter of finding them, right? And picking the right spots and making sure you're locked in at the right prices. It's kind of just like right here. I'm going to put on a little bit more of Palantir right here, right now. I am waiting at 101.85. Oh, Fed's Goolsby in my ear talking about full employment. That's not great, actually, but, you know, I mean, it's great for the citizens and everything like that.
For the economy.
But yeah, for the economy, good word. But at the end of the day, full employment means there's not too much room to go to the upside there on employment. But we'll wait to see what happens there. The Fed just talking heads all the time, right? So where did we just short there? We shorted 101.40s. So, all right. Bang. We'll see if it can flush. Okay, geez, man, Neil, what's going on? This is what I'm talking about. Bang, traders. All right, there it goes, man. There's $1 and change. We just took it right there on Palantir. So again, this is part of it, right? I mean, you can hold for the dream, or you could sort of filter back in and out a little bit, right? So we're going to start to get out of 5% or so on all of these dips and just try to make some cash. So that's what we're doing right now. We're 2 and change as Tesla's coming back, but we've gotten a bunch out here. It doesn't want to break the 50. So Chef Joe and everybody in the chat, watch out now. We could break a little bit lower. The market also, Neil, I'm not sure. You were in BABA, but I see you're out. Good trade on Intel, it looks like.
I'm waiting for BABA, though.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I kind of like the short ideas because the market's not getting back to 2,200 right now. Sorry, 22,000 is that bottom. But we're having a problem breaking that 22.1. So VWAP is right there at 22.11. Let's see what happens, man. I think the best thing to do right now for me would be hands off a little bit. again, we're going to look for some more trades, but I think we got to be specific on what we look for. There was that story on Meta.
Yeah, it was kind of a
That was
nothing
a
burger.
positive
It didn't
story,
end up
wasn't
really.
it? Something about AI. But
Yeah, it didn't really move that much. I kind of thought Alibaba was about to drip. So Alibaba was getting back into view. But I thought we were about to drip right into opening support there at 137. So I was looking to take maybe a mean revert trade on that. But BABA now bouncing already back into VWAP. As I said, we can be patient with it. I'd love to see this get back above and start trending, but you got to make some higher lows. Either we get into that low and give us our break of trend, or we can just sit around and not do anything in the stock. Like if that's, you can be flat in the stock if it's not setting up. I wanted to be only long Alibaba today, but it's got to start giving me long setups. Otherwise, it was a nothing burger. I feel like any moment it could do that. Bit of a topping tail wick on Intel back into pre-market, whatever you want to call that, consolidation, support, whatever it is, and it's trying to hold underneath that. So topping tail, I'm in here at 14s, going to bid into 25. If it breaks that, then 80s and 90s are going to be a play. But I want to try to stick with BABA if it's going to start to go strong, or get strong again, I should say. And I keep saying I like Unity, and then Unity just keeps, I don't know, man. Unity's now up 24%. Yeah, this stock is doing whatever the heck it wants right now. This is complete insanity on Unity. Doesn't really get to VWAP. I guess that should have been enough of a consolidation to have gotten into it, but I was being a little bit patient with that. Should have just taken the old standard, there's a trend down, there's a break of trend, just punch long on Unity. 23% after being down 10%. There's no stopping this thing, it seems like today. Maybe it does want 30%. So BABA could be next. It's trying to get back above VWAP. Didn't quite get to 137. This is where I want to try and grab the turn next. If it doesn't do that, then I guess we're going to wait around for another opportunity in BABA. Going to try to stick with it.
yeah, I was just writing down Alibaba 140 break. So I actually put that in. If it breaks 140, I'm going long. So that's going to be the play. We did just take out another piece of Palantir for another 50 cents. I'm just trying to scalp out a little bit. I do have bids that we talked about that near that 100 marker. And then after that, 99.50s, and then hopefully a little bit lower there. Let's check out Walmart. It's like we had that great show. So we're up on Walmart, but like it was an absolute nothing burger on earnings. I thought Walmart had a chance to do something here. It's not doing too much. It's down 6%. Nice move down. We caught that bottom off this area, got it up there at the top, but then once it broke, we got out. It would be in the money now, of course, about 40 or 50 cents, but you got to play a little bit on the defensive side, of course, when there's going to be earnings. Let me explain the BABA trade again that we're actually going to take here real time. So I just, we bounced off that 140 is VWAP, right? So I actually have VWAP here at 139.80. I'm going to play the 140 key level break. If you wanted to break the 140 or 139.80, that's also a decent trade opportunity there, right? But at the end of the day, I'm a little bit surprised because the market's battled back nicely here, and Alibaba's actually doing this. So it's worth it. I guess Neil Short is out there on Intel. Look, man, it's been a rough day. Like I'm not gonna ask if people are green or red or whatever. But for me, I'm gonna be red today, and pretty much the majority, actually, the whole redness is redness. The negativity stems from Tesla, and it was really this break there at 350 that kind of sucked. Because we were trying to hold some of this from up here underneath VWAP, thought we could get back up. We eventually do. So it was that break right there. And then because we had gotten waxed so many times, we didn't punch it back through with like a huge amount of shares or anything. So for right now, Tesla is unfortunately what it is. But look what's happening right now. Spit it. Money. Dollar. So here we go, man. Let's go Dollar Club. There it is. So now there goes Palantir to the downside. I was talking about some chip names there. I saw that your Intel's out. But there it comes right now. Palantir now coming back down as we worry a little bit here about what this market's doing near VWAP and some stocks not reacting the same as others. Tesla, I need to get something out again if we come to VWAP. That's 354. So with this market kind of where it is, I'm going to go to 353.74, just a little bit. Again, whether or not we take 25-cent difference or not, I'm going to take that out basically right ahead of VWAP and see if we can get that. We are now only 10 minutes away from having Hall of Famer and one of the most famous quarterbacks in NFL history live on the show, Mr. Brett Favre. So we are super
with a very important topic.
Oh my, yeah, exactly.
Really?
Well, yeah, we'll talk about brain health and everything like that with Brett and everything that he's working with right now. Okay, so there it goes, man, $1.50. Neil, we're sitting on $5 worth of winners right now. So everything good over here. So let's do something right there. So I see that you're being, like me, back into Intel. Like, this is what I do, is like, I keep getting back into names, so I'm glad that you're back into Intel. Let's
it's a wick out, and
yep, exactly.
One of the things is, look, I don't want to be adding to it or
PALANTIR.
Holding it through the stop level, but if it wicks the stop, there's your prior, it's not like, call it the pre-market low, but like it blew through that like it didn't matter, but there was accumulation at 30s. It wicked that 30 level, and I stop out, and then it comes right back underneath. So breaks the prior bar low. I'm going to get in. I'll try to, it's a bad price there because of the size of the candle, but if we can get some back in the 18s, 19s, and give it to the high, the low is 50 pennies from here on Intel. And Intel's been moving $1 a day recently. So I think in this situation, it's not normal Intel where your risk ends up being like 5-10 cents. You're trying to risk 15 to 20 the way it's been moving around. But that's on this reversal, you kind of want to get it here, and because I'm getting it at like 11s, I should be trying to get ads in the 19-20 range so my price can be a little bit better. VWAP doesn't matter to me in this particular case, and then just going back over to Alibaba, I'm trying to stay focused on this. It just lost VWAP, so it's looking like it might be trending down, and if it's or continuing to trend down. If it does, just gonna wait for 137. Right, you're just trying to stay disciplined with it. Make sure you have your stop. Make sure you have a reason to get in, a reason to get out. With this level of volatility, that's going to be very important. And if the market is going to roll to the downside, the other thing I've got to acknowledge is if Unity breaks trend, I know it's a strong stock, but if Unity breaks trend and the market goes back to the low, it's just a short. So I actually should double check to make sure that we have locates on Unity, because I didn't do that earlier because I was only going to go long. But now it looks like it's double topped and potentially breaking trend. In this market, that's going to be a fade for me on Unity.
All right. So we're getting geared up here in 10 minutes, Brett Favre. We do also, it's like if you just logged in the last 30 minutes or so, you've seen all of our trades. We discussed this trade right here, getting short Palantir in front of VWAP. So now it's $1.40 in the money, and we're starting to get it out. Like on a normal day, remember, like this, so I'm getting more out at 80 right now because I'm talking myself out of this. Like on a normal day when you're making $1.20, $1.50, $1.80 on stocks, at some point it's like, okay, we got to kind of ignore, like, look, so I'm just punched some more out there. I got 99.80s right there, actually, because anything could happen at any time. Like this stock, we were just covering this, Neil, at 99.13s, okay? And then now this is what's happening. Right back up to 150 again, $100.50 again. So what a wild ride there. I do have an offer. I can see right here that this doesn't seem to want to break 30s. So I canceled my Tesla offer up here at 54, and I actually put it at 350, 340. But this is not working out right here. I'm going to put another offer just ahead of 353 just to get some more out. This is still $3 in the money. We do like that trade. I do want to check out what's going on with Alibaba. Downside, I'm canceling that buy now, so forget about that. Bear Cave report on something that I just missed. Alpha Papa Papa.
It's App Lovin'.
Yes. It's App Lovin' there with the bear reports.
But it's already at the low. Like,
yeah, 485.
Already down 10%.
Could get a move down. Okay, so there's Palantir, right? We didn't really get scared out of anything. We got out at 99.80. It did pop up there. I'm not reshorting that. I just want to talk like Alibaba again. Pretty disappointing. I know it was a nice upside move there, but at the end of the day, it has faded out pretty good. And I'm glad we've stayed away from this. So we'll be flat on Alibaba, but it looks like it does want to break some of these lows. So that's another thing, though. Even on earnings, the run that this stock has had, we could definitely start breaking a little bit lower. You have that gap fill back to 126. Now, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, but that is something to look at right there for Alibaba. And there it goes right there, face slapper. For Tesla, we'll get something out at 353 right there. Like Randy's, like this is the coffee that Randy brought me. So I know I'm still not feeling that well because we still have a loaded up coffee, which now I can't drink.
The tea's probably more important.
Because it's way too cold. Yeah, here's the tea. But I mean, again, like I'm feeling fine. It's just It's more this market that's got me in a little bit of a delusion here. But okay, the reason why I talked about that was because I wanted to look at Starbucks. So again, I am really surprised. The strength in Starbucks is pretty unbelievable. Okay, it's up on the day, and just look at how far away from the 50-period moving average this stock is. Like we say, a shout out to Brian Nichols and all that stuff. Like, he went over there and changed the game, I guess. Put his new plan into place. I think they had 1 quarter under him. We'll wait to see what that growth and that trajectory is. But for right now, nicely done there to the upside for Starbucks. Not only is it positive, but this is a daily chart. It's had a great run off that 200 period, and it looks like it wants to continue to work out. So yeah, so far so good here for Starbucks. Nice move to the upside right here. I don't know if it's going to be a day trade for us today with so many other things moving around, but you got to like Starbucks there with a nice move. And the other name, if you're looking for a little bit more, relative strength potentially, or some little bit more give up.
Not bad.
Yeah, like Dutch Bros right here has the capability of moving. It's a newer stock, lower float, so on and so forth. So this could get juiced up even more, but they're down 3% today. So I got to find out what's going on with Dutch Bros, maybe even earnings, I don't know, but down 3%. The market's pretty good to the downside. We touched 6,100, it looked like there on the ES. You know a name that...
Actually, Bro's just on the 15, by the way, Bro's on the 15-minute. I feel like it's consolidating since earnings. Oh, that's still Unity. Let me just quickly do that. This is a 15-minute of Dutch Brothers. There's a report. It's been like very slowly stair-stepping up, but there was support at 80, there was support at 81, there was support at 82. So it's just kind of retracing some of those levels. Very much in the pocket for Dutch Brothers as well. Nike's not having a bad day at all. That's when you were saying Starbucks.
Yeah.
Pull that one up, and it's looking pretty good. Unity does a bit of a revert here, but you can see, like, it's not flushing. When it reverted to the upside, look at how strong that move was. Like, initial candle big, and then it just goes strength to the upside like it was doing earlier, but like a small pullback. Like, you go 26 quarter down to like 25.9, and we're still sort of sitting in the same range, not really breaking the low. If it gets to 25, I think that's an easy out. It's a big psychological level here on Unity, and just to show you on the daily, it's also some prior highs at the 25 level. So I'd expect some buying to come in at that particular level on Unity. Just a couple of minutes to go. So obviously we're excited to have Brett Favre come through in just a couple of minutes. But a couple of things before we sort of get out of pocket, just the market's not going to stop, even if we are paying attention and listening up on an important topic. NVIDIA holding above VWAP. I haven't traded NVIDIA yet today, and yet's going to be the key word. NASDAQ holding just underneath it. So I feel like at this particular moment, like, you're down 0.3 on NVIDIA, you're down 0.8 on the NASDAQ, 0.7 on the ES. NVIDIA's got some strength in it. The other thing, if it can break this consolidation, it'd be a red to green story if it breaks 139.25. So NVIDIA, I want it to be a long, but it needs to break this one out. Here in NVDA. But for now, above VWAP while the market is underneath it, breaking this trend to the downside by breaking out that top also sends it red to green. So I'm going to be watching NVIDIA for this break pretty closely. I think you can take the breakout and sort of give it back into VWAP. We like VWAP at this time of day because we're it's almost 11 o'clock, everybody.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We're getting on in time.
This day went quick, boy.
Well, when the market's flying like this, I mean, obviously, yeah, the other thing we should pay attention, if there's too much volatility in this market for you, like that open on Palantir was insane, even if you're not going to trade it, get those reps in mentally of paying attention to the tape, reading the tape, watching it closely, being active and engaged in the stock that you're watching, because you get like a week's worth of information from tape reading in an open like this. It doesn't matter what you were trading. Like Alibaba was huge moves off of the open. Palantir was huge moves off the open. Unity was huge moves off the open. Mm-hmm. Like basically everything out there. SMCI was moving. You're getting so much information in the tape that this is the kind of day that you want to take in as much as you can. Speaking of BABA, still trending down into that pre-market low. It just did a bit of a capitulation candle. So I might take my fourth long in here. So far we've been pretty good, but we've got another trend that it's trying to break. It breaks trend, I go long. Put my stop at the prior bar low. Pretty simple.
Yeah, talk about taking profits. So this is what I did on NVIDIA so far. We went up and down there. It was a good long, and then it wasn't, and it dropped through 139. It's battling with 139 right now. Good look there on NVIDIA. I feel like an even better look on Palantir. We just got some more out at $100, as we'll wait to see that right now. So, all right, let's see if we can get a little bit of a break now on Palantir through $100 coming through again. A play that I don't mind. You know, like I was thinking about Disney here again. So we're down 1%. So I don't think the long is really right yet for Disney. I'd like to see it. Where's the 200 period here on a daily? We should be under here somewhere, right? So we'll wait for this to load. Yeah, okay. So 102. I was looking at some of these levels there and talk about a name that, you know, does have some catch up to do. It's going to be Disney. It hasn't performed that well in a while, but so far right here for Disney, looking like it wants to figure it out. You know, CCL Carnival today on some tax news. Wow, they got waxed right there to the downside. We could see about Carnival Cruise Lines. I've never been on cruise myself, but there are a lot of friends of ours and so on and so forth that love cruises.
And they go every year. We don't know what you're talking about.
And guess what? What? I just saw the man, the myth, the legend himself is now logged in and ready to go. So we're very, very excited. Momentarily, we will have one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
Legend.
And I think he could still play. I mean, I like Jordan Love as a huge Packer fan. You know, but maybe Brett wants to suit back up. You know, he gets back in there, we see. But no, he's not going to be doing that.
Mac Jones keeps getting chances.
Yeah. That's the thing about the NFL. Actually, this is going to be a big NFL season for free agent quarterbacks.
Huge.
There are so many. And I know Brett knows them all.
Smith is going to get paid.
Yeah, Russell Wilson looking for another contract this year as well. So, NFL is super fun, super exciting. So
you know they're going to give his that.
I think he's going to.
You know they're going to give him. See, someone's going to give that dude $40 million. Sorry, I almost said a bad word.
Yeah,
someone's going to give him 40. You don't think someone's going to give him $40 million? Someone's going to pay him.
Maybe. I think the Giants would be the only.
No, you can see how I feel. Whatever.
Okay.
He's a Hall of Famer too.
I know we are getting ready for Brett to come through, but right here we do have we do have a nice trade happening. Let's go, Palantir. Nice move to the downside right now as we're shorting this one. $2 in the money, Palantir. $2 long on Tesla. So let's just figure out where we're going with this trade. We just covered some more Palantir. It's a rocket ship to the downside, Neil. Look at these reloads there at VWAP. Bang, bang, bang. We keep on getting to the downside right now. All right, Palantir, nice move down. And again, we talked about this to Chef Joe. We talked about this with everybody, that Tesla was getting excited up here near 353. So we only have 5% left of Tesla, but the time is now. So let's go over to the desk with Brendan and our guest of the day.
All right, a few quick facts to start this off. A bit of a serious topic that we're going to be discussing with Brett here this morning. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, there's 3.8 million, specifically 3.8 million sports and recreation-related concussions in the U.S. each year. The global market, meanwhile, for concussion treatment is projected to grow to $7 billion by 2030 and has increased awareness and advancement in the treatment options going forward. So, I mean, this guy needs absolutely no introduction. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's been kind enough to give us a few minutes this morning. Brett Favre is on Trader TV Live. It's great to have you, Brett. Thanks for doing this. How's your morning?
Thanks for having me.
It's a serious topic, and I want to, as you heard coming into this, the two other hosts of this show are huge football fans and huge fan of yours. So I'm going to let them talk to you a little bit about NFL and the football side of things. But let's get right into why we're here this morning. You've had an absolutely storied career. We don't have to, touch on that. Everyone knows a lot about that, but it came with a lot of physical tolls. And why don't you start by sharing your experience with concussions specifically and how they've overall impacted your life?
Well, about a year ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. I'm early in the disease, and I've met with 5 different specialists, 4 in the United States, 1 in Switzerland. And I've asked them all the question, where do you think I got Parkinson's, and each one said the same thing. If it's not in your family, then we look to head trauma and environmental. But the bottom line is, at this point, it doesn't matter where I got it. The fact that I got it is what's most important, and because you can't get rid of it, at least not at the moment. But you know, football is what I always wanted to do, and it was my dream. There was no second option. So I've been very blessed. That being said, you know, the majority of my 20-year career, concussions were not looked at as that serious. Only the latter part of my career, I'd say probably the last 3 years, is when they implemented the concussion protocol, where you do a baseline study and you do all this like puzzles and answer questions and things like that. And they give you a score. And then when you supposedly have a concussion or potentially had a concussion, you go back and redo this test. You score lower, you don't play. You score higher, you're okay. I think that's a good start. And what people, I think, fail to realize is helmets are not necessarily going to stop you from having a concussion. They will help with, you know, superficial wounds, but they're not going to stop the head from the whiplash effect. And what I mean by that is a person trips and falls. The head acts more almost like a slingshot, hits the ground, the head stops immediately. The brain continues to move. The human brain is basically sloshing around in fluid. Unlike, and this sounds, it's almost kind of comical, but a woodpecker bangs on a tree or a pole each and every day, but never gets a concussion because the head is not sloshing around. So for us, better helmets help, I guess, to a certain degree, but they don't treat it. So we need a treatment that will stop the inflammation. You know, for lack of a better term, concussion is swelling of the brain. And if we can reduce that immediately or stop that immediately, then we have a fighting chance. But we're just scraping the surface of how serious and the repercussions of what's. And the thing about concussions, you can have 1,000 and seemingly be okay, you know, maybe short term, and you can have one and it could give you a neurological disease or, you know, major depression. So it's really a serious issue.
Going through something of that magnitude on a personal level obviously changes your perspective, opens your eyes, gives you a different view of that specific health-related issue. When did you first realize the seriousness of your case specifically?
Well, my last play in my 20-year career just happened to be a major concussion. Now, some may say, what's the difference between a major and a minor concussion? Well, I had a pretty lengthy conversation with Dr. Benjamin Amalu. And if you saw the movie Concussion, which came out roughly 15 years ago, Will Smith portrayed Dr. Amalu, and he was the person who discovered CTE. So he and I are on the phone talking, and he says, Brett, how many concussions did you have? And I said, 3. And he sort of chuckled, and he said, how about 2,000 to 3,000? I said, no, 3. And he said, how many times did you get tackled or fall on the ground, trip and fall, and you saw fireworks or like flash bulbs went off, or you were a little woozy, but you were still able to call the next play and go on? And I said, geez, Doc, almost every time I was tackled or fell. And he goes, see, that's what people don't realize. That is a concussion. So the damage is done for the most part with all these minor concussions, because you can't have major concussions and survive. You know, I mean, a boxer will not have a long career if he gets KO'd every time he gets punched. Muhammad Ali is a great example. Hardly ever did he get a sure enough blow to his head, but he had lots of jabs, and those took its toll. You know, for me, again, I knew that having a major concussion at 40 was not a good thing, but I didn't really. I have to admit, I still felt like I was bulletproof until this diagnosis last year. And about 3 years ago is when I started noticing some quirky little things that didn't add up. For example, my right arm, it would stay. I don't know if you can see this, but I would be walking, be just doing whatever, and it would be fixed at my side.
I don't know. We'll try and get Brett back connected there. That's unfortunate. Internet issues, possibly, guys. We'll work to get him back connected here and come back to Brett here in a sec.
Yeah, I mean, look, powerful stuff, and obviously, you know, it's Parkinson's. That's not an easy disease, man. And wish him all the best for that. You know, my mind immediately went to my my university track coach that had Parkinson's. He passed a few years ago, and that's a battle, man. That's an absolute battle, and it takes a lot of courage to come out and talk about that, and the honesty that comes with it.
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
a very serious topic.
I mean, there were some more questions that we had for him.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we'll be able to grab him back. But if not, I mean, I think the point was well taken there. It's a very serious issue, and he had highlighted that Will Smith movie, Concussion. Years and years, like a decade ago. What year did he say that was? Like
15 years ago.
Yeah, so this is something that is definitely affecting all major sports too, right? But football, because it's such a huge contact sport. And the quarterback.
Soccer too. It's a lot of other sports you don't even think about.
I mean, I think about yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, let alone every year of Brett Favre's career, like, you know, the defensive players got bigger and stronger. And their goal is to basically rip the head off of the quarterback. I mean, let's talk about what it is. There was even in New Orleans, or whoever that guy was paying the players to basically, Bountygate, right, to go and do that. So what the NFL obviously has to do is change some of that, and it looks like that's what they're doing. So if we can get him back on, that'd be great. But we are right now wrapping that up. It looks like I would like to have talked to him, but we can see if we can do that again. But we want to thank Brett Favre for coming through there with some technical difficulties. So yeah, very, 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 very generous. So thank you, Brett, and everybody there. So check out Orogenics on our screen right there. Ogen listed on the NYSE. So actually, I want to check that stock out a little bit right here, because this is a name that. Yeah, exactly. Ogen. Right there. Sorry, it's not on the NYSE.
It's on the NYC ARCA.
Oh, yeah. So here it is. Is this it? Right here?
Yeah. We say Amex, but it's NYC ARCA.
Right. Okay, right. So there it is, Ogen right now. Okay, so anyways, all right, let's just continue to trade a little bit here, and we'll thank Brett for his time, and maybe we can get him back. All right, so as that was happening, we were talking a little bit about what was going on with Palantir. Palantir does break through. We get 98.50s. I mean, that's a $3 winner off of that level. So what we've been doing since time was short, bang. You know, so we're able to grab that back in right there again. So this has been a big trade for me to end the day. So we're really happy with that. And then we had left you before you went to Brett was the fact that we were nervous a little bit about Tesla and telling you we had less than 5% left of our trade. So that's exactly what we have left right now. We haven't gotten any out. We're seeing if Tesla can still hold 350. It looks like it wants to. A little disappointing in the day. I thought the market was about zeros and Tesla was up. And I was like, okay, if the market's going to stay there, then we do like Tesla to the long side, up 3%. Was up about 1% or so. But then it actually got more aggressive to the downside against the market. So now you're down 3 over here and only down 1 over here. So the market is an ever-going thing there. But
yes to the lows right now.
Yes to the lows. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll throw back to you 1 second. I just want to check out, because we only have a minute left. I just wanted to say, like, JP Morgan, and I didn't want to forget about this because we don't talk about some of these bank names enough, and I said I'm not going to buy any more stock, I'm just going to buy indexes, but this JP Morgan, whoops, Oh, like Chris Berman, whoop, right there, 270.
The Jock and J.
Now I'm thinking about it.
No, it's not just JPM.
Sharif getting excited over there, boy.
Morgan's almost at the 50 period as well. The XL here. Well, I know we're going to go to that, but here, XL load, EC load letter. Here it comes. It'll load in a second. The XLF pulling back when that was fresh highs on the XLF literally yesterday, because that's what everything was doing yesterday, was making tops. We got to get used to that by now. But yeah, we're getting a pullback. It's a broad-based. Like, it's not just, I know everything's like Palantir, there's nothing moving quite the way that Palantir is moving in some sense, but you're getting a lot of movement to the downside in a lot of places. It's a wide net that the sell-off is sort of casting in here. And it is also 11 o'clock, and everybody, look, it's been, what? We're gonna stay. We're gonna stay for a second. I'm just sort of hearing right now that we might have Brett back. Thankfully, we might be able to get Brett back on, and if we're able to do that, we're going to stick around here just a couple minutes, see if we can figure this one out and get Brett back on. That'd be absolutely fantastic if we're able to do that. So, as I said, the market sell-off, as Sean said, affecting everything else. We're seeing the financials pull back. I think there's a buying opportunity coming in. I liked XLF, but that's not at VWAP. It might be, not VWAP, the 50 period. It might be Morgan Stanley for me that gets there first. So that's the financial that I'm eyeballing. But we just caught a bid on NASDAQ. I'm still only in Intel, which I just got some out in front of the 90s, but it just bounced one more time here into VWAP. Let's see if it can, hold underneath VWAP is what we're looking for here on Intel. So yeah, we're gonna stick around for a couple minutes and see if we can't get Brett back on, which would be absolutely fantastic, man. I'd love to ask him a couple of questions. I know we both wanted to talk to him. Absolute legend, man.
Yeah, for sure. I was just looking at some of these index at JP Morgan there. You can also look at some other banks or some other financials. Morgan Stanley, like down 5% right now. So in all this tax talk and whatnot, like this Morgan Stanley today, like often we will only really look, right now we have $3 in the money on Palantir. So we'll do a little bit of a cash cow right now for what Palantir is, but to the short side, Morgan Stanley getting hit, Wells Fargo getting hit. Just let me know in my ear, Ramin, if there's anything going on. Down 3% now for WFC. So that reminds me of looking at the ETF, which of course is the XLF. So, if you want to get a little piece of them all, XLF today looking pretty disastrous down there to the downside as well. So it's not just a tech sort of debacle here today. It's actually much worse in the financials. All right, looks like we've solved some of the technical issues. We're going to go back with Brendan.
All right, he's back. We appreciate him. Reconnecting here. Internet can be a bit of a tricky thing, Brett. Thanks for jumping back on. Why don't we jump right into the treatment side of things, because there's been a lot of buzz, for lack of a better word, and a lot of interest, for lack of a better term, in the last little while here around intranasal treatment, specifically for brain injuries. Talk a little bit about your experience and your role in that.
Well, I think it's intriguing. I'm certainly no doctor, wouldn't claim to be, but I have not tried it. And to my knowledge, it is in clinical trials. It's somewhere. Again, I don't want to even talk specifics, because I'm better at throwing a football, but I think that there's tremendous upside to this intranasally procedure, and because you're bypassing the blood-brain barrier and you're not going through the gut. That all makes sense to me, especially when you're dealing with the brain. More than anything, you want it to go right to where the inflammation is, and so that's why. Now, that being said, I don't know if what is in clinical trials presently would help me necessarily. Probably not, but it would help if you had a concussion instantaneously. You're able to administer this through the nose and alleviate the damage has been done for me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And there's no reversing that. I have to hope for a cure for Parkinson's to help me. But for someone who is presently playing or on the schoolyard, playground, slip and fall on ice. I mean, there's tons of ways you can get a concussion, but having that available to stop the information in its tracks would be, I mean, nothing short of a miracle.
When it comes to messaging here, what would you like to say to younger athletes, specific to parents? So many people, you know, and you mentioned, you know, slipping and falling on ice. Hockey comes to mind right off the bat here. It's not just, you know, a one sport issue that we're talking about. What's the message that you would like to leave with young people here and parents of those young people?
Well, the message is more for the adults, because we're the ones who are to look after our kids. I've been an advocate for not playing tackle football at an early age. You know, high school is fine. But certainly our 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds should play flag football and be taught the fundamentals on the way as they move up the ladder. The ins and outs of how to tackle, and just walking through, showing different diagrams and videos and stuff of how to do it the correct way as they're maturing physically. But the bottom line is concussions are serious. They're not going away. They affect our youth. They affect the elderly and everyone in between. And so we have to be very conscious of our kids and looking for the signs of what may be a concussion, or whether it be minor or major. And if a kid has one, or you suspect it has one, you disengage with physical activity until they show, tremendous signs of improvement.
Brett, I want to thank you. I'm Sean. This is Neil. We want to thank you so much for being on the show. Where I'm a longtime Packers fan. Neil's a Bills fan, so we won't talk to him too much about Super Bowls or anything. But at the end of the day, there we go. But at the end of the day, I have young children as well, and they're playing hockey. We're up here in Canada. Football is very popular as well, and I just want to thank you for helping get the message out. And what you just said there about watching out, playing at younger ages, I think a lot of people need to take that to heart. Right. But the one thing that I'm never going to forget about you is the record that I think will never ever be beaten, and that was your 297 consecutive games played. So I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that and watching you as a Packer. Thinking back about that, was there ever a time maybe earlier on in your career that you thought maybe you should have sat a couple times? Or was it more later on in your career where you just wanted to keep on going to see how long it could go? If you could have changed a few things back in the past, would have you done that, knowing what you know now?
Well, there's no way to know for sure. I would be speculating, and knowing me, I strictly played the game because I loved it. My dad was the high school football coach for 35 years at the school I grew up in. So as a little kid, I remember running the balls out on Friday nights, or bringing out water bottles for the guys on timeout, and just thinking, this is so cool. If I could play in the National Football League or a Super Bowl, that would be the greatest thing. And so when I got that chance, I was never going to let it go. And I got my chance because the guy in front of me got hurt. And so in my mind, I said, you got to play through injuries. You got to play through pain, because the next guy will just remember how you got your spot. Right. And don't ever give them a chance to forget about you. So would I have done it different? I don't know. But I know this, the latter part of my career is when I had concussions. And when I say 3, as I did earlier, 3 where I knew I had blacked out for a period of time. The last one, I remember when I finally got my faculties back later on after the game and realized what had happened. I thought, I really had no clue
what had happened. I mean, there was a blind spot there for about an hour where I had no clue what had happened. And I thought, now I never played again after that. I had 2 more previous within probably 5 or 6 years towards the end of my career that were sort of like that, where I blacked out for a period of time. But I didn't know at that time that concussions were serious. Knowing now how serious they are, I may have chosen to sit out the following week, which would have been the smartest thing to do.
That's powerful stuff, Brett. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna ask you. I had a question that was gonna talk about, Josh Allen, who I think channels a lot of your spirit in the way that you played. But my mind just went somewhere else because NFL players, you guys are all high profile. You're a legend, and so you get your story out there, and everyone's hyper aware of it. But when you were talking about the youth, my mind went to the NCAA for a second. And my question would be, does this come up when you're talking to your old boys at Southern Miss or whatever it might be? Is it as big of a topic thinking about the future, taking all those hits because it's high school, then it's 3-4 years of NCAA play? Like, how much are even the college kids talking about it, or is it just the pros are aware of it because they're playing a little bit more extended? Because you start thinking about the numbers of college football players out there taking those hits. Is that a discussion? Is it something that you're engaged with?
That is a great question. And honestly, that's the first time that question has been posed to me. And as I'm listening to you ask this question, the answer is the guys that are presently playing, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, so on and so forth, at every position. There's a tremendous amount of money that is being paid to these players. And I can promise you, very little is discussed between the players that are actively playing in regards to later down the road. And I think that that's just human nature, if this makes sense at all, where you think you're immune to getting older. And I'm just look at life in general. Remember, your high school days and thinking the teacher was so old because they were 45. And then all of a sudden you're 45 and you go, it's not that old because now I'm there. But now I'm 55. I've had my right hip replaced. I've had 2 back surgeries and been diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2 years. All that within 2 years. And reality has set in. So former players, retired, been far removed from the game, or even a couple of years removed from the game, tend to have that conversation much more than the active players. And I think it's just human nature. You think that you're immune to everything.
Yeah, perfect words. Brett, I gotta let Sean get the final word in there. And when Sean says that he's been a lifelong Packer fan, I've known Sean since I was 15 years old, so it's 30 years now. Trust me when I tell you, he's a legit fan.
I was going to wear the cheese head today, but we have a big hockey game.
I actually predicted on the show he was going to wear it, but thank you so much, Brett. Thank you,
Brett. The next time you're in Toronto, promise you'll come see us. We want to thank you for coming on this show. It's been such a great honor for all of us here to have you, and we'd love to get an update on your condition moving forward. And we wish you the best of luck.
To be on again.
Oh, amazing. Well, then, Brett, you just tell us when you have a chance because we would love to have it. I mean, the information that you gave, especially we have over 8,000 watching and all the viewers right now absolutely loving it. So we want to thank you, Mr. Brett Favre, NFL legend. Thank you for bringing this all to the forefront.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Brett.
There it is.
Well, there it is. I mean, I don't.
That's a little fist bump.
Yeah, great question there on the NCAA there. I thought it was important because that record, 297 consecutive starts. That is like,
it's insane when you
right. And and he was perfect. Like answering the question, like the passion for the game. It doesn't stop. And you see quarterbacks even right now, like Tua, having all those issues and still going back out there.
It's
Why?
hard to even think about
Because
hard
and
time
they
even
asked
thinking
him, and
about Tua.
he loves playing. And he doesn't see himself doing anything else,
Yeah.
right? And at the same time, and I know money right now is a little different than when it was in Brett Favre's era, of course, but sometimes it can't be all about that. It has to be about safety. So we want to thank Brett for coming out and definitely putting that up there for us. So,
Healthy.
all right, let's wrap this up, man. Now someone owes me 15 minutes more of extra pay.
No, that's
so I don't.
well. I mean, Sharif, I'm sure the midday guys will go till 2:50.
Yeah, Sharif, write me a check. No, no, absolutely great. We would go overtime. 100 minutes over if we needed to. So again, thank you, and thank you to everybody there for everything that the chat provided, and he's been absolutely fantastic. We want to thank him one more time.
That's a milestone for us.
That's a great one. All right, that's it. Thank you, Neil. Great show. Thank you, everybody switching on the board. Thanks, Brendo, for that great interview as well. All right, you get a treat. It's Sharif. It's Obi. It's midday. Let go.